What is up, Drama Kino Alert Nation? Let me share this. Alright. Give me 1 second here, guys. Just sort of setting up. I'm live. Bop, bop, bop. Dooga-dooga-doo. Live. I am live. Let's see. Has anyone joined in? Am I literally too early? No, you are not literally too early. You are right on time. Let's see. Let me up my gain a little bit. Yeah, you are right on time here. I'm just sort of setting everything up and sharing this around. Let me see if I can get some of the guys to... I am live right now if anyone wants to hop on. Today's just kind of a chillax stream. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? I see a lot of new faces here. Now, I recognize Julian from Sumito's server, but some of you guys I haven't seen before. Tony, hey, Mr. Corner, when will you review? Okay, so so on my latest video, at the very end, Ape Gang representation. Yes, Ape Gang. That is, Kino Corner is Ape Gang confirmed. But on my latest video, Tori Torim, hi, hey, I really liked your comment. It made my day. I saw your comment earlier this morning, and I do read all my comments, even on some of my videos where, there's some videos where it's kind of like I get a lot of comments, but I do read every single one. I try to keep my ear to the ground on that. Oh, your comment gap. Okay, Gordy Sporty. Well, it's nice to see you here. So on my latest video that I did with Internet Historian and Ordinary Things, now I was going to get Sumito to actually to respond to it, but we both decided that it would be funnier if I just sort of like cut up things that he said in other videos and just like make him say something absurd. And I do think it ended up being funnier than him actually responding, and the fact that it's just sort of like it's like out of all three of them, the one person I couldn't get an interview with was Sumito, so I like made it up, is also pretty funny. So, but at the end of it, I do this thing where I say if I get 1,000 likes, I'll review To Boldly Flee. But then pretty much 90% of my comment section is telling me to review The Wall, because I think JU started it, but I think it's also because I use clips from The Wall in the video, because I love that. I just love his like honey ad, where he's like, and he's doing that. Like it got turned into a GIF. It's probably my favorite GIF of all time. I use that GIF so much. The funny thing is I've actually never seen a Nostalgia Critic video all the way through. To me, he's more of a meme. I don't watch a lot of like film related YouTube stuff. So, this would actually be like the very first Nostalgia Critic video I would watch from start to finish. So, it would also be special, I guess, because it's that, because it's, it'd be special because it'd be like, I'm losing my Nostalgia Critic virginity, in a sense. Let's see. I don't know how to say your name. Zay Casaves. Do you have an all-time favorite film? Yes, this is part of the Kino Corner lore. What is the Kino Corner's all-time favorite film? Let's see if anybody in the chat can get that. I'm a massive Pink Floyd fan. I'd love to see Nostalgia Critic 1 get torn to shreds. Yeah, I mean, like, it wouldn't be hard to tear it to shreds. So there's something about, I don't know, like reviewing the bad movies. It's pretty easy, and I feel like it'd be like, it's like low-hanging fruit at the same time. I get a lot more, I guess maybe every now and then it's sort of fun to rip on something, but I get a lot more creative fulfillment. Made in Italy 97 is correct. I get a lot more creative fulfillment from talking about what makes things great. I love like researching things, talking about what makes things great, all that kind of stuff. Also, The Gamer from Mars' new video that he's coming out with next week is written by me, and it's about film preservation and silent movies and Indian art films. So everyone should check out The Gamer from Mars' video next week. I think he's releasing it next week. I might even be editing it. I wrote it. I might even edit it. I mean, for all intents and purposes, if I edit it, it's going to be a Kino Corner video hosted by The Gamer from Mars. So, think of it almost like a bonus video. But today I was, I guess I can enjoy an actual unironic breakdown and analysis of Nostalgia Critics The Wall if done right. Yeah, you know what? I think that, so this kind of goes into the malaise of modern criticism. So criticism is like film criticism. I mean, really any kind of criticism. Like what people don't get, what people don't really understand is that criticism is pretty much like as varied an art form as filmmakers. So, there's always the bad critics, there's always the good critics. There's always the ones who are like right on the money. But usually no one really like is always correct. There's somebody like Roger Ebert who was honestly like he was like 50-50, as far as like if he liked a film, like was it a good film? It was about 50-50 with Roger Ebert. I mean, like I love a lot of the movies on his great movies list. That's a good list to look at to see like what movies you should watch. But at the same time, he got a lot of movies really wrong, like Blue Velvet. He famously gave 1 star. Yeah, and he didn't like The Thing and stuff like that. But Roger Ebert is still well liked. He's still cherished because he had a very good writing style. He had it was fun to read his reviews, even if maybe he wasn't always the best reviewer. He was a good writer. But the thing is that with the internet, right, just about anybody can become a critic. Anybody can become a critic, and you have the rise of these like internet critics. The nostalgia critics, the nostalgia chicks, the cinema snob, the the critical drinker or whatever. I don't watch any of those guys. I just kind of see them on Twitter. What about him hating The Usual Suspects? Yeah, I think he gave it half a star. He really hated The Usual Suspects. That's where Nostalgia Critic excels, because he's an amazing reviewer and writer. Yeah, but that's the thing, is that people like to hear about movies they've seen, and I think that the Nostalgia Critic, he really did sort of like started this. Maybe it was Plinkett, but Plinkett was being kind of ironic, and I guess Nostalgia Critic is a little less ironic, of like just taking these sort of movies that everyone has seen and just sort of like picking it apart in a very sort of nitpicky kind of way, and and that has metastasized across all of YouTube film reviewing, and and so I don't really care for that style of review at all. Honestly, if I'm going to be reading a review, or if I'm going to be listening to a review of a movie, which I almost never do, like I look at a movie and I just say to myself, like, does this look interesting? And if it looks interesting to me, I watch it. And if it doesn't, I don't watch it. It's pretty much it comes down to that. I don't really read reviews. I might read some analyses, but analyses are different. Oh, hey, Philippe, how's it going? Philippe and I met up in Tampa last week. As some of you know, I was down in Tampa for the Road Rage event, which was very fun. We all had a very good time, so that was good. I say AVGN and Nostalgia Critic were pioneers of internet critics. Thankfully, AVGN is not controversial. Yeah, and AVGN does things a little bit differently. So, the whole AVGN thing, the angry Nintendo nerd and angry video game nerd, his whole shtick, right, was kind of making fun. Like, the idea was that it was supposed to be the character was supposed to be pathetic because it's like, I don't know, in 2006, maybe like 15 years like after these games have released, he's getting mad at these like old games that he played as a kid, right? And it's supposed to be, well, he also did Cinemassacre too. Yeah, and AVGN, but AVGN and Cinemassacre, that whole crew is just like super not pretentious. AVGN for like, he'll rip on the games, but he doesn't actually like hate the games. He's kind of it's more like parody in that sense. It's more parody of that kind of criticism. And really it's just really the comedy is just about watching some like pathetic nerd get mad at like an old video game. In Cinemassacre, those guys are really like, they're not pretentious at all. They're just like regular dudes that like talking about whatever movie they like or something like that. I don't necessarily have the same taste as they do. They're into more like normie stuff than I am, but I like listening to their takes. It's like when I'm on a long road trip, I really love the rental reviews, because when I was like, driving across, I've driven across the states several times, like from Florida to California, and I would love to pop on their rental reviews or like their discussions, because maybe even if I didn't super care for the movie like Roadhouse, it was still fun listening to them talk about it, and it just kind of felt like their way of doing everything. It just feels like you're just hanging out with a group of friends and they're all just sort of like shooting the shit. I like that about Cinemassacre, that I feel like internet criticism should be more like that. Maybe stuff like I don't know. I just don't like the stuff that's just like super nitpicky. These films, oh, why didn't they do this? This is a plot hole. No, you just would have done it differently. Just because you would have personally done something different doesn't mean that the character not doing that is a plot hole. I don't like that style. I think that if you're going into a film and you're just nitpicking every little fucking thing, you're totally missing the point of like how you're supposed to watch movies. You're actually going against the art in a lot of ways. I think that it's just, I don't know, it just feels like it's smug, and it's like you're going into watching these films really looking for just something to rip. You're not going in there to experience what the film is trying to have you experience. You're going in there to look for content for your channel, for your videos. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. It's just grimy. It's dishonest, and it caters to really low IQ people. What's your favorite animated film if you have one? I don't really know. I watch a lot of animated stuff. I don't know, like, would anime stuff be in there? Because I really like Perfect Blue as far as like anime stuff goes. And as far as like Western stuff goes, I don't know. Fantastic Mr. Fox, maybe? Is that animated? Maybe Coraline. I really like Coraline as well. Yeah, probably like one of those, I like the stop motion stuff, I like the stop motion stuff a lot. I started watching Fantastic Planet, but I haven't finished it. I started watching Fantastic Planet, but I haven't finished it. I really do like Watership Down. That's a great one, but it's not exactly like a film I can just like watch all the time. Iron Giant is also great. Yeah, Iron Giant's great. I've watched that several times. I just, it's just hard for me to like remember like all the animated films that I've seen. Actually, an animated film I saw a couple of years ago that I really enjoyed was this I think it's Swiss, like this Swiss stop motion animated film called My Life as a Zucchini. I really loved it. And Fantasia is my favorite Disney movie. It's just Allegro non troppo. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I really like Fantasia. I think that Disney peaked with Fantasia. Although as a kid, I also did like Fantasia 2000, but I haven't seen Fantasia 2000 recently, so I wouldn't really know. You know, I can't have a comment on that. But I had the VHSs of all that stuff. Oh yeah, End of Evangelion's really good too. There's animated musical segments, but a lot more crude European animation like. It has a comical live-action framing device in black and white. It's like a better Fantasia 2000 in that regard. Oh, okay. That's good. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, as far as, anime feature films, like, there is something about the anime feature film where I almost prefer anime as, like, in a feature film format, because what you can get in... called A Town Called Panic. Yeah, I've been meaning to see that. But anime is a very cinematic form of animation, because they have like the really detailed, like backgrounds and everything. It's like painted backgrounds, and then the animated characters are done a bit more cheaply in the foreground. But it does give it a very sort of cinematic feel, and so I do think that anime, as far as like in whatchamacallit, anime as far as like as far as being cinematic, as far as animation goes, it works almost better for me as a feature film than as a series. Sometimes with anime series I watch, like the OA and stuff, they can get a little bit repetitive, because it was kind of like the OA was like, it would start off like the first half would be kind of a noir mystery type, and then like the second half would be like Gundam fighting, and so you kind of know like where each thing is going. But in the feature films, obviously in a feature film you can't exactly get into a rut. I like older stuff, mostly hand drawn. Love the way Ava looked. Yeah, I really love the way Ava looked too. And of course I like Studio Ghibli. Who doesn't? Anime gets the respect of the adults in Japan. Animation, and yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, in the mangas, they in Japan they would print them on the like newsprint. People commuting to work would like buy the newsprint, read it, throw it away. Like it's seen as just like a normal, everyday thing that adults consume in Japan. Yeah, did you guys see that Ghibli's making a CGI film? Kind of crazy. I was not digging the look of it, if I'm gonna be honest. I saw how it looked and I was like, I don't know about that. Call me traditionalist, call me a trad thought. Kino Corner, the trad thought. Yeah, I don't know if I was really digging that CGI look. Dried Up Old Bones released recently, and so many people were shocked it was animated in Blender when it looked just like a stop motion thing. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check him out. What's his name? Worthy Kids. I'm gonna look him up right now. Just chilling out with you guys. How's your guys' weekends been? What have you guys been up to? I mean, I just got tested for COVID again, so I gotta wait. I'm kind of quarantining. So I really got nothing to do. I mean, I have to write this new script. Yeah, I'm gonna give this dude a subscribed. All right, let me hit that bell button too, so that I get notified. Cool. All right, well, if you guys ever meet Worthy Kids, or if I meet Worthy Kids, I'll tell him that you guys sent me his way. My weekend has been rather enjoyable. I'm on the tail end of finishing this. I'm somewhat of an amateur editor. What kind of editing software do you use? If I don't mind, maybe I can give some editing tips here in the stream. If you have any questions. JMS, the UK's gone into tier 4 again. Yeah, I saw that. These lockdowns are so stupid. God, I don't know. Vegas 16. Okay, all right. See, that's your problem, man. Is you're using Sony Vegas. you got to use Premiere Pro. Honestly, Premiere is like, maybe it's a little bit expensive, but if you're going to if you want to work professionally, don't get used to Vegas. Like, you want to start working with Premiere, because that will, like, what you learn doing just your amateur stuff will give you skills that you can use professionally. Switching from editing software to editing software is like, I don't know, it can be a pain in the ass. So, because I initially learned on Final Cut Pro, I think, because that's what we had at my college. And not a lot of people use Final Cut. Final Cut kind of sucks. I really don't like it. So I ended up getting Premiere, and I basically had to relearn everything. Because, it's just like, buttons are in different places, there's different logic to it, just that sort of thing. So I would say, if you can afford it, to get Premiere. And if you can't afford Premiere, if you can't afford Premiere, I would say get DaVinci Resolve, because that's free. And you can set it up so that it's like Premiere, and so that it has, you can set it up so that it's like Premiere, and so that you can start learning basically how to use Premiere, but for free. So DaVinci Resolve, yeah, you should be able to download that for free. Okay, yeah, you say you have a shitty computer. That makes sense. I mean, my computer's not exactly that great. I have to get a new webcam. Actually, I had a better webcam when I started live streaming, and then I lost that webcam, and I looked everywhere for it, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go out and buy a new one. Every single store was out of webcams. I guess, because of the pandemic or something, people just needed webcams for, Zoom meetings and stuff, or, Zoom on School or something like that. So everyone bought a webcam. I mean, before the pandemic, it was just sort of like, yeah, I mean, if you want to stream or if you want to do something like that, you get a webcam, but it's not exactly like an essential product. But I guess it turned into an essential product because I could not find a single one. I looked everywhere. I went all around town, couldn't find any webcams. So then I just kind of gave up. But I knew I do need to get a webcam, a better one, to increase the quality. Yeah, you should download and play Cyberpunk 2077 on the laptop. I'm playing Cyberpunk now. I don't really get a whole lot of time to game. I get maybe an hour in the week to game. That's kind of like a good week for me, is I get a good hour of gamer time, which is gamer time meaning playing games, not screaming the N-word at somebody. But yeah, so I'm still pretty early on in Cyberpunk, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I know that people are like, oh, it's broken and stuff. I've had a couple glitches, just a couple, but nothing like game breaking or anything like that. Nothing too crazy. So for me, see, I'm a big fan of the immersive sim, so I really liked playing Thief the Dark Project and Deus Ex and stuff like that. And I know that everyone was saying that Cyberpunk was going to be a role-playing game, but I always saw it as an immersive sim, because to me it looked kind of like a Deus Ex game that we never got. And I was like, oh yeah, that definitely looks like it plays like an immersive sim. And it is. I mean, it plays a lot like one. It really does feel like I'm playing the next-gen Deus Ex, which, I'm happy for. That's all what I wanted. So, I wasn't on the hype train or anything like that. I bought it, on the day of the release. So, no, it's, yeah, you say, LOL, who said it was roleplay? That's what it's listed as. It's listed as a role-playing game, which I never really understood. People called it an RPG FPS. Yeah, and the thing is it's not really a first-person shooter, because you can do a melee build, and that can get you through the entire game. The swords are actually pretty OP. So, yeah, it's not even... so it's not even like it's not even a first-person shooter. As I said, it's an immersive sim. If you're going to compare it to a recent game that I can think of, maybe Prey, I played a little bit of Prey. I downloaded it and then just wasn't able to like play a whole lot because I said I don't really have that much time to like play video games. Yeah, Looking Glass Studios guy. Yeah, the first games that I played growing up, the first games I played growing up were like the early id games. So like the first Doom and Wolfenstein 3D and the Quake games, and I remember playing on like being kind of blown away by the whole online thing from Quake 3. And so that's kind of what I grew up on, and then like after that it was the immersive sims and stuff like that. And Deus Ex is probably still my favorite game. I love JC Denton. You know, like he's probably my favorite protagonist in a video game. Still, is just because he has like this comedic autism, and you know, just he's a character that just cannot read the room, and I love it. Oh yeah, so I have to wait. I gotta go look at my community tab because we have our. I gotta see who won this week's. So as you guys all probably know, Adam Jensen was a great guy. But anyways, I liked Adam Jensen. Yeah, and Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Those are examples of prequels that turned out really well. I love both of those games. Human Revolution is more like globe-trotting. You know, like it feels more like the original Deus Ex, where it has like the mini hubs like kind of all around the world, and then Mankind Divided is more like a small open world in Prague. And I like both. Like I like both of those. I like how both feel, and I like that they both feel a little bit different, but they play similarly, and I like both. I prefer Human Revolution, but excuse me, Mankind Divided is not a bad game. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I enjoyed my time with Mankind Divided quite a lot. Let me see. Community. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so who won? Oh, it's actually tied. So currently we're tied American Psycho and Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, and it looks like, okay, so, you know, I've been having these polls for the whole week. And the joke is that none of these movies, or most of these movies, aren't really like Christmas movies, you know, like they're not necessarily what I would consider to be Christmas movies, but they're movies that kind of happen to take place on or around Christmas time. So the first winner was American Psycho, 71%. That was a clear winner. And then the next day, you know, it was tied pretty much between Gremlins and Eyes Wide Shut, although it looks like Eyes Wide Shut has taken a 3% lead over Gremlins. Nevertheless, when I made like the end of the week, you know, the final round, I put both of them in there because when I did that, they were tied. And then Die Hard obviously won the next day by a large margin because of the meme. I'm disappointed in everyone for falling for that meme. And then thankfully Brazil won the day after that, and it beat out Elf. I put Elf in there as a joke because Jay was like, "Where's Elf?" and he kept texting me, and you know, whatever, like asked me where Elf was, and I was like, okay, I'll put Elf in it like on the last day. And then like tons of people voted for Elf. Okay, so the final round, American Psycho's at 26, Eyes Wide Shut is at 26. I guess maybe I can call it a tie between the two, but I'd rather, you know what, maybe I wait till like midnight tonight because something might change. Something might change in that time, and one of them might be declared victor. Let me see. I got to read the. Yeah, Julian. I know about the GMDX. Some of my favorite games have to. Which tied for what? Which film is better? I mean, it's more of a popularity it's on my community tab. It's more of a popularity contest, you know. It's something that I just thought of. It's just something I thought of doing just to kind of like have something that's fun while I'm like bored at work, you know. Put up polls, and I get to like check the polls all day, and you know, and see what people are commenting, and you know, and just see that kind of stuff. Like for me, it's just more of a fun little thing, putting random like Christmas adjacent films on there, and you know, that sort of thing. So just popping to say your Bresson video is great. Trying to do a vid on him myself right now. Yeah, you know, Bresson is probably one of my favorite directors. I've seen all of his stuff. I just bought the Criterion copy of Mouchette, and I'm excited to watch that again for the 10th time. My favorite Bresson film, I always say, is L'Argent. I mean, it's sort of like waivers, you know, depending on the day. Sometimes it's Oh Hazard Balthazar, sometimes it's A Man Escaped, sometimes it's L'Argent. I really did like Four Nights of a Dreamer. General opinion on favorite film, least liked film of his. My least liked film of his is Angels of Sin, L'Ange de Péché. His very first movie. It doesn't really feel like a Bresson film. There's some shots in it that are very Bressonian. But, you know, like that's his first movie that he made with a studio. You know, and it kind of shows. Like for me, Bresson really started with Les Dames du Bois de Boulogne. And I love that film. And I think that a lot of his... the thing about Bresson is that it can be hard to find his movies, so it's hard to really have a good discussion anymore about Bresson, because a lot of people just have not even heard of like half of his films. You know, a lot of people haven't seen The Devil Probably, or Lancelot of the Lake, or Four Nights of a Dreamer, because they're essentially orphaned in the West. Brian De Palma. I like Brian De Palma. Actually, the other day I watched Dressed to Kill, and I had a lot of fun with it. Is he a good successor to Hitchcock? I think so. I think, like, Blowout is great. You know, I loved Blowout. Scarface, obviously, like his reimagining of Scarface, which, you know, his Scarface, people like to say it's a remake of the 1934 movie with Paul Mooney. But it's really not. Like, if you watch them back to back, it's kind of like there's that shot, or that like motto that's like the whole world is yours, or it's something like that, that's in both of them. You know, like there's that, but everything else is so different, because the original Scarface did you know, it was about Italians in like New York, and then the new Scarface, the Brian De Palma one, was Cubans in Florida. It was very different. It's just a remake in name only. I've seen Blowout this year. Yeah, I love Blowout. Just like where Blowout like leads you to, as a film goes, it ties everything up so well at the end, but it ties it up in a way that you wouldn't expect. But then looking back on it, you're like, that makes a lot of sense. I also watched Sisters on Halloween this year. So I watched Sisters. That was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Blowout, though. Yeah, and Frankenberry's right. Blowout is his best. I could honestly watch Blowout probably like every day. And John Travolta was, you know, is surprisingly good in that. He was a good actor back in the day. There's just some like Travolta type stuff, you know, that sometimes gets on my nerves. Maybe it's because I saw Grease, and Grease is such a corny film. Like, I honestly don't get the appeal. I don't get the appeal of Grease. I'm sorry if like there's some Grease heads. I'm sorry if there's some Grease heads in the chat, but Let me see. Yeah. By, but you yourself are a filthy Xeno. Okay. Being called racist by Russians on Twitter. That's just my life. Grease is not Kino. Yeah, Grease is. I sat down and watched Grease beginning to end for the first time this year during the pandemic, right? I'd seen clips, and those clips just were sort of like, felt like I was pouring vinegar on my eyes and shoving needles in my ears. And I was like, there's no way I can watch this whole film. But I sat down and I watched the whole film so that, it's just something that I like to do. If I'm going to rag on something, I like to at least say that I watched the whole thing. And then people can't be like, oh, you didn't even watch it. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. So, just to kind of combat any of that criticism, when I say, yeah, this movie's awful, I watch it. I torture myself. And I watched Grease, and I really want that 2 hours back, or however long it was. I don't know. It felt a lot longer than that. Howdy, Kino. I'm hungover. What were you drinking last night? I was drinking whiskey last night. Some musicals are honorary: Wizard of Oz, Singing in the Rain, Dancer in the Dark. Yeah, those three movies are great. And Singing in the Rain is a good film to watch too if you're into like film history, because it's all about the transition from silent films to sound films. There's a lot of good history in there. Wild Turkey Bourbon. Yeah, see, I do rye whiskey myself. So last night I was drinking Michter's rye whiskey. And then at the Christmas party I was gifted some rosé wine. So I was drinking a little bit of that too. I got a little bit tipsy and I rewatched Tenet, and I couldn't understand any of that. I couldn't understand anything. I was tipsy. I was just kind of like, yeah, let me just put on this movie. It's an action movie, whatever. I can just like sit back. Like, I don't have to think. I'm kind of drunk. I'll watch Tenet, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, this doesn't make any sense. I can't even enjoy this movie. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, last night it was between watching that. Nolan films require big brain. Yeah, it required a really big brain, a very big brain that I obviously don't have. I have a smooth brain, all that backwards, forward momentum, time shifting, black science man stuff. It requires a very big brain. No, there's a big problem, right, with time travel in movies. Like, it's always, there's always like this, things aren't going to make sense in a lot of time travel movies, but some movies do it better than others. Or like Back to the Future, it's very apparent that it's kind of working in a more like fantastical sense. They go back in time. What you do back in time changes things in the future. It's very simplistic. Obviously, it's not based on any science whatsoever, but it works for the movie. Speaking of time travel in movies, have you seen Primer? I have not. The end. I have seen Primer a couple times. I met Shane Carruth a few years ago. 12 Monkeys is a time travel film with 0 holes. Now, I wouldn't say 0 holes, but 12 Monkeys is a good time travel film, and it's based on the Chris Marker film La Jetée, which I've seen, and which is only like 25 minutes long or something like that, but it's made almost exclusively of still photographs. So in La Jetée, did Shane beat you? Yeah. Yeah, he did. No, he didn't. He was nice to me. Yeah, and you can watch La Jetée on the Criterion channel. And yeah, as I said, it's like under half an hour long. It's an interesting film just for the experiment. The fact that 12 Monkeys is a paradox makes it sort of a plot hole. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like whenever you have time travel in movies, you're always going to have plot holes. You're always going to have inconsistencies and stuff like that. And so it's, in my experience, it's almost better just to make it like super simple, like Back to the Future. You go back in the past, you do stuff in the past, it changes the future. And it's basically like a 1-1 change, right? He gets his parents together, and he makes his dad stand up to Biff. So now Biff is working for his dad, and his parents are together. You know, it's like a 1-to-1 cause and effect sort of thing. It's simple. Yeah, maybe if you think about it too much, it doesn't make sense, but it keeps you invested in the movie. But the problem with Nolan is that he loves to, 12 Monkeys is not about changing the past. But the problem with Nolan is that he wants to like over-explain everything. He wants to like, he wants everything to make like scientific sense. You know, he wants everything to be just so precise when it comes to like, yes, this could actually happen. I want to make, it's like with Interstellar, like half the movie is the actors just explaining the science to you. It's like, look, I'm watching a movie. I'm not watching like a Vsauce video, you know? But his movies are like that. And that's why I think Dunkirk is his best, because like almost no one speaks in Dunkirk, so you don't get any of that like just sort of hokey Nolan expositional dialogue. And for Tenet, the whole time travel aspect of Tenet, it takes so long just trying to explain it to. It takes so long for him to just like explain how the universe works that by the time you kind of get it, you're like an hour and a half into the movie. Like already, like the length of a full movie has gone by before you can really sort of explain it, and you feel like, I don't know. It's just, it's just something that I'm not a big fan of. X-Men Days of Future Past is also surprisingly consistent with how the time travel works. As soon as you change something, everything changes and disappears in the future. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, that's how it probably should be in a movie. As far as, like, these fantasy movies, X-Men, stuff like that, you're not really looking for realism. So why should you even try to be realistic? Just make up a system that works for the film and keeps the audience engaged. Best recent or best overall? I don't know what that is in response to. When is Vsauce going to give us his special sauce? I demand it. I don't know. You have to ask him yourself. Maybe you can go on the Create Unknown podcast and ask Kevin Lieber. Hey there, JU. Do you guzzle chum? No. I throw chum in the water, though, when I go fishing. If you want to know. I'm pretty sure the future parts take place over a short amount of time. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, how the X-Men set it up is like what Ellen Elliott, whatever, Page, is like projecting into the past and like taking over or something like, no, she projects Wolverine into the past. Look, it's stupid. It's a comic book movie. Don't think about it. Where did the word kino originate from? It's an old word. Like, it comes from kinetic. The word kinetic, motion. Kino is called it because it's motion picture. So, sorry, Mint, do you think Dunkirk is the best recent Nolan or best overall? I think it's best overall. I honestly do think it's the best overall. His other, like, ones I consider to be very good, I really like Following, his very first movie, Memento, and I like The Prestige. His other films are usually fairly solid, but are usually very solid, but have a lot of issues. Did Bruce Willis from Looper saying to not look into time travel too much, playing the same character from 12 Monkeys, but hey, that's just a theory, game theory. Yeah, actually Looper's time travel really doesn't make that much sense. And that's a case where the time travel was maybe a little bit too complicated, and when they told him, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he did call Shane Carruth. Because if you think about it, so he kills, at the end, spoiler alert, look, the movie sucks, don't even bother watching it, it's bland. So, if I spoil it for you, like, don't get mad at me, just, I don't know. If you're mad about Looper, then I don't fucking care. But, you know, it, like, at the end, he shoots himself to end it, and then it's like a rift opens up, and like all this stuff. It takes time to change. And I was like, what the hell? So he shot himself, but he was still alive. He was still alive in the future. You know, like he was still alive. He was alive in the future enough to come back in time, but then he shoots himself, and then it takes like the last like few minutes of the finale for things to like, oh, all this stuff is happening. It's like, if he was to do something like that, wouldn't it like just be instantaneous, you know? Yeah, I'm glad you didn't like Looper as well. Yeah, no, I didn't. And I hated it. It's like people thought that Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi being bad was like somewhere out of left field. But have you seen his other movies? I don't think he's made a single good film. I don't like any of his films. Like, all of his films just are kind of like Reddit tier. They're all very Reddit. Let's see. Emily Blunt is hot in it, though. She's always hot. Come on. If I were to do a time travel film, I'd probably not make it about changing the past similar to 12 Monkeys. It can avoid so many paradoxes and head scratches. Yeah, you know, a time travel film that maybe could work, that could be like interesting, I don't know, is not that the person is like going back in time to change anything, but to observe. Like if they're going back to like observe something, you know, like that could be a really cool way to do time travel, where it's sort of like looking into memories in a sense, you know. I don't know. Like, I haven't really thought about that much. The whole time travel stuff doesn't really appeal to me as a writer. I'd rather keep things. I like doing things that are like Tarantino style. If you want to call it Tarantino style, it's just the most. People get what I'm saying, because obviously it didn't start with Tarantino, but you know, style where it's like non-linear, like it's. The scenes aren't chronological. I like that, but I don't necessarily like the whole going back in time traveling sort of convention. Just isn't really for me. I didn't even think Knives Out was a decent watch. I thought it was stupid. What are your thoughts on Bone Tomahawk and or Dragged Across Concrete? I haven't seen Dragged Across Concrete. I like Bone Tomahawk. I preferred Brawl and Cell Block 99 though. I really liked Brawl and Cell Block 99. I've been meaning to see Dragged Across Concrete. Reminds me of Back to the Future. That's right. Knives Out is the lame, unfunny version of Clue. And you know what? Like the whole ending where she's like drinking the coffee and it's like my house, my rules. I wanted to like fucking punch the screen. Well, I saw it in the cinema. I wanted to like go up and like rip apart, you know, just rip it and be like, no, you cannot do that. And the whole like, oh, spoiler alert. But honestly, if you guys like get mad that I'm spoiling a fucking Rian Johnson movie, then get out. But the fact that, oh, he actually did commit suicide, like it was all over a suicide, and all the characters were so dumb. Daniel Craig's accent, I wanted to like fucking punch him in the throat so he couldn't say anything for the rest of the movie. that awful, awful accent. All the characters were just like the most two-dimensional, like cartoonish, like basically what Knives Out is Kino. Okay, Knives Out is Kino because Knives Out is how a blue check mark views the world. See, Knives Out has given us just this. We're looking into the mind of a blue check mark. We're seeing how they view the world. Yeah, this is how politics is viewed from Ryan Johnson's eyes. I mean, it's idiotic, but it's sort of like we get to see like straight out of their little eye holes, you know. Knives Out activated Kino's 8 brain. Oh, hey there, Laugh-Twos. Laugh and I. We're in a server together. We both write/edit for Mr. Art, also known as the Gamer from Mars. I should make a competitor channel to the Gamer from Mars and call it the Gamer Word from Mars. It's a dumb joke. All right. Yeah, there's not a lot of good mysteries out. Honestly, like I'd rather watch just a whole bunch of Columbo episodes than watch like any new mystery movie. Columbo did it right, you know. Peter Falk, always great to watch, always just super entertaining, just great guy. Yeah, you know, it's like mystery was a huge thing back in the day. One more thing, and we should talk about why there are no good movies with women in them. J.U. is our resident misogynist. Everyone say hi to J.U. He's also my top patron. Poirot is a great show. Yeah, it's based on the Agatha. What did you say the letter N stood for? Nick Nolte. That's what it stood for. Nick Nolte, the actor. Bro, just watch Scooby-Doo movies. It does it just as well. I don't see a problem. You know, I have seen the Scooby-Doo movies. Like, you think that I don't. You think that I'm some guy living in an ivory tower. You know, I never come down from my tower. All my food is like on a pulley system. You know, the peasants come and they put in my Dom Perignon and my caviar and my escargot into like a bucket, and they bring it up to me on this pulley, and I'm in my ivory tower just creating my Kino Corner videos, and I'm only allowed Kino up at the top. All the other peasant movies, and they get filtered out. I have secretaries at work, and just they screen everything and they make sure it's Kino. No, I mean I don't live like that. I don't live like that. I watch a lot. I pretty much watch anything. So I've seen a lot of trash. And honestly, the Scooby-Doo movies are trash. I remember, was it the second one where it's like Ruben Studdard was in it? You know, the one guy who won the American Idol. Yeah, I have a Criterion copy of The Night of the Hunter. I've seen it a few times. Really like it. What's your take on sci-fi films? Is there one you would recommend for everyone to watch? Godfather 1, 2, or 3? Well, I'm going to watch the recut version of 3 tonight. So but between Godfather 1 and 2, that's really difficult. I don't know. I really love both of them. I mean, Godfather 2, like, I'd say they're equal. You know what? I know that's like a cheap thing to say, but I'd say they're equal. Yeah, I just bought the recut version, so I'm excited to see that. What's it like living in a janitor's office? Well, I don't actually live here. This is just my work. But my office at my at my home, or my internet at my home is just really slow, and I can't stream, so I just come to my work to stream. Yeah, as far as sci-fi films goes, as far as sci-fi films are concerned, like sci-fi films I really like. I like the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers a lot. The Blob is a fun one. Gosh. I mean, I really like The Thing. Oh yeah, of course I love The Conversation, but that's not a sci-fi film. I'm trying to think of like older sci-fi that I really like. I typically don't watch a lot of sci-fi, I guess. The original Alien, and Blade Runner and stuff. Like, I like cyberpunk kind of stuff. I've always liked the cyberpunk. Which Invasion? The 1955-56 one? I really like that one. I mean, both the 1950s and the 1970s ones are great. Yeah, Planet of the Apes is fun. Planet of the Apes is a fun one, but the costumes just kind of... I mean, they're kind of goofy. Like, that's... A lot of those sci-fi films from, like, the 60s and 70s are pretty goofy. I tried to watch John Carpenter's Dark Star, like his first feature film, which is about people, like in a spaceship. And honestly, I thought that movie was unwatchable. I like John Carpenter, but I did not like that film. Of course, I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't really consider Star Wars sci-fi. That's like space fantasy. It's wizards in space. I know it's kind of a meme, but it pretty much is wizards in space. It's not like sci-fi. It's not sci-fi, but a space movie that I really like is For All Mankind, the documentary. Super great. The Conversation, I would... Paul Verhoeven... Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Paul Verhoeven stuff is good. I've seen Starship Troopers a lot. I really... Starship Troopers is one of my, like, guilty pleasures. I don't even think it's a guilty pleasure. It's just a good movie. RoboCop is also good. Yeah, Total Recall. Those are all fun movies. Yeah, I mean, sci-fi kind of popped off in the 80s. I was just trying to think of, like, 70s sci-fi, like Logan's Run type of stuff. Like, I enjoy most of them, but it's kind of like they are sort of cheesy and low budget, and things like that. But generally, they're enjoyable. And generally, they had interesting ideas behind them. Something that you don't really get in a lot of movies now. Like, I guess you could classify, like, the Marvel films as sci-fi. But there's no interesting ideas behind them. So they have all the money in the world, but they don't have interesting ideas to kind of give them lasting power. Whereas the movies back in the 70s, they didn't have that much money, but they had those ideas that they gave them lasting power and kind of, so they stuck in people's minds. I haven't seen Silent Running. As far as I've seen The Running Man, I've seen Marathon Man. I hate Planet of the Apes mainly because it won Outstanding Makeup Achievement from the Oscars over those monkey actors to the intro to 2001. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that, but 2001 did win Best Special Effects. It won Best Special Effects. Like, think about that. 2001, one of the greatest movies ever made, like, hardly recognized at the Oscars. Just like Citizen Kane. It won the Oscar for Best Screenplay. Like, come on. It's, I know that it lost to How Green Was My Valley, I think, Citizen Kane did, but at the same time, I mean, Citizen Kane is the better movie. Like, they're both good movies, but Citizen Kane is the better one. Tripster 60, yo, what's up? I haven't seen you here in a little bit. Yeah, it's yeah, so tonight I'm gonna be watching The Godfather Part 3, Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. I started reading Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho. I'm probably gonna finish reading it for when I do a video on it. I'm thinking that, so my next video, I'm coming out with probably sometime before, I was hoping for Christmas, but I'm a little bit too, we're a little bit too close to Christmas now for me to actually get a video out in time. So sometime before the new year, probably going to be one of those days after Christmas, which probably is better because I know that I don't really watch YouTube, on Christmas Eve or Christmas. I don't really watch a lot. For me, I like to spend time with my family and my friends and things like that. So, it'll be better, I think, if I release it while people are out of school, but not actually on the holiday. Oh yeah, High Noon's another classic. I love High Noon. That's like one of the first movies. Maybe I don't want to ever say it's the first because there's so many movies that came out each year that there's bound to be something that did the exact same thing, right? As another movie that we always say was the first to do it, whatever. But High Noon was an early example. I think that's a better term. An early example of a film that takes place in real time. It is the movie is 80 something minutes and it takes place over that exact amount of time. It's very interesting as far as just how it interprets time on film. And I know that's Bill Clinton's favorite movie. He played High Noon at the White House in the 90s all the time. Sean Connery was in the 1981 sci-fi film that's basically a space outline. Okay. Kim Jong-un, yes, we talked about Bone Tomahawk a little bit earlier. I'm excited to see the Godfather recut. I'm excited. Supposedly the beginning and the end has changed. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I have an open mind. I always have an open mind about these things. I mean, Godfather Part 1 and 2 are just so monumental. It's you got Marlon Brando and Al Pacino and De Niro and James Caan and Robert Duvall just doing some of their best work. And I know that going back and making 3 in 1990, a decade and a half after, after Part 2 came out, there's a lot riding on it, a lot of hype. I'd like to see the recut version that Coppola says is more is really the definitive version of it. I'd like to see that and just see it without any of this sort of, without thinking about all of the extra stuff, all the extra stuff that just kind of surrounds the film. We cannot have a president playing Reddit movies in the White House. We need a Kino president. All right. Yes, I agree. If we get a president into, if we get a president of the White House and he goes in there and he plays Scott Pilgrim versus the World, should we be able to impeach him? 1 for yes, 0 for no. I know that there's a bit of a lag between me saying things and you guys hearing it. So, I'm on low latency. Okay. So, 1 for yes and 0 for no. Is watching Scott Pilgrim versus the World an impeachable offense? Kubi, please. You're wrong. I just want to tell you that. You're flat out wrong right there, brother. Yes. I don't know anything about the comic. I just know that Scott Pilgrim ruined an entire generation of women. Let me see if I can have anybody hop on. Here, let's get streaming right now, brothers. Hop on. Maybe we can get another one of those big old YouTubers to hop on. Someone to talk to me, so I'm not the only one entertaining the masses here. Scott Pilgrim versus the World ruin an entire generation of presidents. Yes, that would be I mean, that wouldn't be epic. All right, guys. What's Eggy like IRL? Super cool dude. Eggy and I, we're bros. And join the chat later. Did we talk Mank yet? I talked Mank 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, I talked about Mank 2 weeks ago. I didn't like it. That's the long and the short of it. I didn't care for it. Let me see. No one's hopping on. No one likes me. I gotta be here and entertain you guys. I'm a one-man show. I'm a one-man army. It's the Kino Corner, not the Kinos or the Kino's Corner or the Kino Corners. It's just one little corner. This corner back here, you see my staff only sign. So I got a question for the chat. I want you guys to put in what would be a Kino film that a president could watch in the White House and it would gain your respect. If a president watched this film in the White House, you would just automatically commit election fraud for him to get, a second term. Apparently, Francis Ford Coppola spent $30 million on the recut of Part 3. This will include new scenes, re-edited ending, and digitally erasing mustaches. That's based. To quote Eggy, based and red-pilled. I have a cold. If I was to shout it like how Eggy does, I would lose my voice. 1 sec. Oh, Slush is gonna hop on. Cool. I'm gonna grill. Are you guys ready for me to grill Slush? I'm gonna take him to the cleaners. Slush is gonna come on here. He's gonna be in the hot seat. Everyone, get your questions ready for Slush right now. Start putting those questions in the chat. All right. We just have to hammer Slush in. This can't be a warm welcome. You know what I mean? Like, he comes in and we're all like, hey, how's it going? No, he comes in, boom. Everyone just all at once. It's like, it's like when you walk into your house or apartment or whatever, and there's tons of people in there, and they're just like, all grabbing onto you and stuff like that. Triumph of the Will, because it was directed by a woman. Yes, women's rights. Watch Triumph of the Will to support women. Support women. All right, Kino Corner supports women. All right, we support strong women like Leni Riefenstahl. That's what we do here at the Kino Corner. Don't clip that. Slush got ripped off with this video in XQC. Yeah, I want him to talk about that. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna ask him about that. Welcome to the Kinokast. Yo, what's up, Chris? Chris is in the chat. Yeah, we're just talking about Nazi propaganda. Just nothing. Just like regular Saturday talk. Does Kino Corner support getting a GF for every member in this chat? Dude, you know it. All right, I'm gonna give you some pickup lines here in this chat, right? I'm the next PUA, pickup artist. And I like that term because I do consider myself an artist. I do consider myself a person who sees the world in ways that other people generally do not. And Gokanaru, Chris, I'm in the Legacy Discord server, Legacy creator, so if you want to hop on, you can always just hop on. I'm literally just in the general chat here. All right, so with women, okay, here's a few things. How to get a GF by the Kino Corner. Step 1, fake like you're confident, right? Just act like you're confident, even if you're not. Just pretend that you're playing a character, okay? And she'll buy it. And soon enough, you might even buy it yourself. You'll see how, you might be scared to say things confidently or something like that. Excuse me. You might be scared to say things confidently or something like that. And then you realize that really there aren't any, I don't know, repercussions to acting confidently, and you don't really need to be scared about it, so you just kind of act like it all the time. Step 2, do not be yourself. That is step 2. Don't be yourself. Not at first. You know, if you're into like weird shit, if you're like, yeah, I like to watch Steven Universe, yeah, don't tell her that, dude. don't tell her that you like watching Steven Universe. Keep that for date 4, you know? That's not something you open with. All right. Step 3, don't care, like just don't give a shit about okay, so I don't want to come across as misogynistic or anything like that, because I'm not. I love women. But step 3 is care about yourself before you care about her, right? That, you know, you have to think about this. Like when you get to a certain part in the relationship, then obviously you care, you know, you're together, you care about each other equally, right? But, you know, when you're first dating, think about yourself first. You know, if don't worry like, oh, I don't know if I can find another GF. I don't know if I can find another girlfriend. I don't know if anybody else will take me. Don't even think about that. You know, if the girl's not for you, she's not for you. Dump her. It's really as easy as that. Stop seeing her. You know, is Pink Flamingos a good date movie? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know what? You know, here's something I would do when I dated. Is I would just intentionally do things to sort of, you know, test the boundaries, you know, like I'd pick up the girl, right? Go in front of her house, you know, she'd hop in the car with me and I'd be like, hey, do you mind if I play some music? And she'll say, yeah, I don't mind. And I would just blast Death Grips. I would like blast Death Grips until she was like, yeah, I don't know if I like this kind of music. And then I would just go straight to Kiro Kiro Bonito. And and if she wasn't into it, then I knew that she wasn't the one. I knew that she wasn't for me. You know, I mean, I was having fun with it. Like, I think that's a big thing, is just don't take dating that seriously. Like, if you can easily psych yourself up. You can easily just get into your head and just not take it seriously at all. But you'll have a lot of your dating life will be a lot better if you don't take it seriously. You're not thinking, oh, I got to do all this stuff to impress her. I want to get laid. You know, I want to do all this kind of stuff. Like, don't even think about that. You know, just think about having fun in the moment, and don't really care if the girl ends up liking you or not, because it doesn't matter. Yo, what's up, Slush?
Yo, what's up? I'm on my phone, so sorry if the mic quality is shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna just increase. Actually, I have your user volume at 100.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Yeah, no worries.
I actually can't even stay that long, but I just wanted to pop in to be like, to say that your last few videos have been super fire.
Oh, thanks.
And, you're going places, kid.
So, yeah, Slush, I actually wanted to ask you some questions here on stream. We got Gokanaru watching us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
he's in the server.
Yeah, he's in the server. I know. I told him, like, pop in if you want. Okay, so Virgil the Virgin says, what are your thoughts on Sonic's feet? That's for you, Slush.
I think that he's just painting them red and white, and those aren't actually shoes.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he would, like, destroy shoes within a millisecond by how fast he goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got to have big feet to run that fast.
But also, Slush, I think that's something that could be interesting. Do you want to talk about the whole? I know maybe it's played out for you at this point because you were talking about it so much yesterday. The whole like XQC situation. So he did not respond to. He didn't ask you at all, right?
What?
Yo,
okay, so. Oh yeah, what's up, Gokanaru?
Wait, I don't. Okay, yeah. I don't know any of the context of any XQC.
Yeah, I'll
situation.
explain it. So basically, what Kino's talking about is 2 days ago, XQC reacted to one of my videos and then posted the video of his reaction on his YouTube channel. And I actually didn't even make a fuss about it or anything. I just tweeted, "Hey, look, it's my video," and then it just became Twitter drama very quickly. But the one thing that I wanted to highlight when it did become drama was that I thought it was really not cool that the editor uploaded it without first asking me if it was okay.
Right.
If they had asked me, I would have told them it was fine because I actually was okay with it. But it is a case-by-case basis for me. I don't think I would say every video is just automatically okay to upload.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that you should be, like, it's just, I don't know why he didn't reach out to me. He did eventually reach out to me after it became drama and, like, apologized. And he said he would reach out in the future. But I just, yeah, like, when it comes to, my take is that when it comes to reacting to a video live, like, that's totally fine. But when you're putting it on a platform to directly compete with the video itself, you should at least make sure it's okay with the creator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just kind of against that kind of content. You know, it's like, didn't like all of YouTube just sort of like go up against Suzy Liu for doing the exact same thing? But these streamers like get a pass on it because, I don't know, because they're like, I don't know.
Well,
I actually don't know why they get a pass. I think, is it just because they're fucking like actually funny maybe? Or like something like that? People like their personalities?
I don't know, because I don't find, like, I don't watch a lot, like, I don't find any of these guys that interesting. XQC and these guys, I honestly don't.
Dude, XQC, I did not understand the appeal at fucking all until I saw some random ass clips of him. Dude, he has crackhead energy sometimes. Like, I get why it's funny. It's like, he's just brain dead sometimes, and it results in like the funniest moments. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's funny too. Like, not on purpose necessarily, but he's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I only go to Twitch because I like to like surf around all these Twitch streams. I'm just trying to find that one magical Twitch stream where the girl is spreading her ass. You know,
right?
that's what I'm looking for.
That shouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah, no.
You just go to the just chatting section.
Yeah,
it's like all of them.
I just typed in like e-girls. I just scroll. No, that happened like today or yesterday. The girl got like 3-day ban for spreading her ass on stream. They think that,
dude, 3 days? That's a bit harsh.
Fuck? I know.
At least she didn't say simp.
Well, yeah,
bad.
Exactly. Well, it was. People were pointing it out because somebody else got banned for 7 days for saying simp, and she gets banned for 3 days for literally spraying her ass. But if you see the photo of it, it's like right in the webcam. And what I saw, like they put up a censored photo on Twitter, and so I haven't seen the evidence, the true evidence, but it looked, even though it was censored, it looked quite, like it was something lewd. It looked quite explicit.
Almost like can appreciate her willingness to go that far,
No, but so here's the thing that supposedly happened is that she didn't know when, so I can kind of sympathize with her. Is that she didn't know she was streaming.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
She just happened to be spreading her ass into the webcam.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a little bit of context to this. She's still an e-girl, and she has an OnlyFans, and she was recording into OBS of her spreading her ass for her OnlyFans. But
Jesus.
But sometimes, now I don't know if you guys know this, but this happened to me last weekend when I was down in Tampa. That
Wait, you spread your ass on camera?
Yeah, I did.
That's exactly what I was wondering.
No, I was glad I didn't do anything crazy. But what happened is, so Eggy and I streamed during the day, and then I ended the stream on YouTube, and then Eggy and I both went out with to the Dick Show thing. We both went out to the party, and so we were kind of partying all night. I come back at like 3 a.m. And I come back to the hotel, I start brushing my teeth, I sit down at my computer to kind of like look at, what's up, if anything has happened, I don't know, just check the news before I go to bed. And I see all these all this stuff in my Discord about how I need to end my live stream, about how I need to supposedly there'd been a live stream going on for half an hour, my phone was dead. You know, my phone had been dead for hours. My computer was in my hotel room.
Half an hour. How does that happen? Because if you were out all day, then how did it turn on?
Well, see, that was so that was the thing. It's like I still had OBS. I hadn't clicked stop streaming on OBS, but I clicked stop streaming on YouTube, and I'd forgotten to stop doing it on OBS. So sometime at 2:30 in the morning, it just randomly started up a YouTube stream, and all people saw was my empty hotel room.
Dude, that's sinister as fuck.
Yeah, it was
People
really...
probably thought it was like you were just doing some like artsy film project thing on
No,
stream.
yeah. Some of my people in my Discord server saying I should like say it's like an SCP Foundation thing or something like that, or make a creepy pasta out of it.
Wavelength video, you know, that
Yeah.
like 70s short movie.
Oh yeah. So
It's like that. You just add some feedback to it.
So Jagna says to Gokanaru, which Monday will Hong Kong Part 2 come out on?
Fuck. Yeah, it'll come out soon. I'm just finishing school now, so I will have time.
You've been doing a lot of school stuff. I know you've been super busy with that.
Yeah, it was funny because I was watching one of your videos yesterday because I have a fucking I had like an elective class that was like actually enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it was like film literature or some shit.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I believe I had to do like I was doing the essay on Blade Runner.
Oh, okay, cool.
But to get me in the vibe, because for some reason I was not in the fucking mood to talk or whatever about movies yesterday to finish this essay that I had to do, and I watched just a fucking solid amount of your videos, so
Oh, nice.
that definitely put me in the zone.
You know, to talk about the behind the scenes stuff a little bit, is that my videos have been doing a lot better as far as CPM goes.
That's good.
Yeah, my
Why do you
uncut.
think that is?
Why? I think it's because they're getting longer, if I'm going to be honest. Like, most of my videos now are 15 to 20 minutes. And I think that's
that
why
makes sense.
my CPM is going up. Like, my Citizen Kane... Oh, I hear echo.
Yeah, I'm hearing some serious echo right now.
Oh, that's probably me. What up?
All right, let's see. Yeah, my Citizen Kane video has a really high CPM, so I'm like, holy shit. I made more.
It's dope.
Yeah, I'm happy. So I'm going to make more stuff like along those lines. Ordinary Things is going to be in my next video. We're basically doing like, it's going to be like Film 101 in 30 minutes or less. That's essentially the idea behind it. It's like the complete history of film. Because I think it's important that, like, if you want to get into movies, if you want to be like a cineast, right, just like understanding where film came from and like how things changed, big historical things, you know, like the Hays Code or the Paramount Supreme Court stuff in the 40s and the rise of television and the fall of United Artists, like all these kind of big things that have, like, it just makes it so that if you want to watch a movie from the 40s, you sort of understand where film was like at the time, and you can appreciate films for the era in which they came out instead of looking back on them like they're films that are
With modern standards or something.
Yeah,
It's like film history type of thing?
yeah. It's basically going to be a big film history video.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's jarring that the Uncut Gems video has like 100,000 views to the average Kino Corner video. Yeah, that one kind of popped off. I don't even know. It's not even my best video. Like, I made that video in 3
It's
days.
just the algorithm, baby.
Yeah, I made that video in 3 days. Like,
That's actually like the classic YouTube thing where it's like you spend like months doing something and it just totally bombs, and then you do like something in 2 days and then it takes off like crazy.
Well, you worked a
You're just
lot
like, wow,
on that.
I'm jaded as fuck.
You worked a lot on that. You know, is Twitch invading our culture video, and that was a really good video. And it should have done a lot better than it did. I mean, not to blackpill you or anything.
I think that I kind of failed on the branding, probably. Not the best title and thumbnail, which is sadly like a really important part of it.
Yeah, I know M's made a couple videos about like the whole, like how branding is a big thing.
It's sad. It's painful though. Like, fucking empathize heavily with like the feeling like you just made a sick video, and then It's not even like you fucked up the branding or whatever, but it's just it doesn't do the job.
It's difficult
Yeah.
to
And
sell.
And it's like, man, I fuck myself.
Well,
Yeah.
and there are some like topics I know that it's a thing for me. Like this year has been, I made a lot of videos this year, but at the same time, it's more like I guess just how I've thought about it. It's just that this year is about me making a backlog of videos because there are no really there are new movies coming out. I have talked about a few new movies, but no big movies. You know.
Yeah, it's true.
I like that, to be honest.
I mean, I like it.
Again.
I like it too because it gives me time to catch up on older films. But
Yeah.
the thing is like for my channel, like how
Right.
I wanted to structure
Like
it.
trending.
Yeah, exactly. How I wanted to structure it is like one for them, one for me sort of situation where it's like I talk about like a trending film or something like that. I do some analysis on like a movie that's doing popular just to kind of find new subscribers, and then like, you know, and then the next video would be doing like an older movie or like a history thing, you know what I mean, or something like this, something that's more of a passion project, and
Yeah.
just kind of doing two and
Ozu,
two.
some
Yeah.
juicy shit.
Yeah, some juicy stuff, but that this year has not exactly been good for that.
Honestly, I think that like building a backlog is really good. Like, look how well it worked out for Ordinary Things, because
Yeah.
he'd been building a backlog for so long, and then when he finally hits, like all of his videos just went up.
Yeah, they did. I was in an Ordinary Things video. I don't know if you guys noticed me in one of his videos. I cameoed.
I don't think I've seen it. The one that you're in.
Yeah, so it was funny. You're talking about Blade Runner. Ordinary Things hit me up a month and a half ago or something like that. It was sometime before Thanksgiving. And to do like a bad British accent. He's like, "Hey Peter, I'm in lockdown right now. Can you go get me a couple shots?" And it was for the Uber thing. He wanted me to do like some shots like from Drive. So that night I just went downtown and I had the most redneck setup to get the Drive shots. But I was wearing my leather jacket, put on my sunglasses, got I had a whole box of toothpicks in my car, doing that. And my friend was supposed to meet me up and like be the cameraman for him. So I get downtown and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I had a panic attack. Like I can't go out right now," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Fuck! Like I'm not gonna get these shots." So then I had to call up my mom, and then my mom came with a camera person. But yeah, for some of the stuff, I was like driving my car while I had like my camera rig, holding it and trying to like focus. It was pretty dangerous how I got those shots, but they came out pretty well. So that's all that matters. And I wasn't arrested, so that's good. I wasn't fined or arrested.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and but I got those. Yeah, that's in this Uber, his Uber video. But I ended up reusing those shots in my own one of my other videos. So I double dipped on that. I know, Chris, you like to shoot a lot of your own stuff too. It's a lot of fun. As far as like,
I want to start doing that.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm just so, like, as you may have noticed, if you've seen my recent videos, I'm not good with a camera. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I actually shot an entire video that was, like, kind of out of focus the entire time. I didn't notice until people in the comments started telling me.
Oh my god. See, you just gotta ask me, dude. Like, I'm autistic when it
will.
comes to cameras. Chris, what kind of
Yeah,
camera
next
do you
time
use?
I'm gonna ask. I think he said he's AFK for a sec because he just got a phone call.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I use a Sony A7S II for my YouTube videos. As some of you saw, I have like motion picture film cameras that I use for more like serious stuff. But yeah, cameras, honestly, it's something like the more you use them, the more you just kind of get used to them, and making something look good is just like making something to look good just feels a bit more natural, You just like if you understand like exposure index, stuff like that, color temperature, it's things that might at first seem like what the hell am I looking at, but when you read up on them, and for me, I'm a very like hands-on person. I'm a very hands-on person, you know. So I like to like get my camera, and if I'm like reading something about how something works, you know, I just sort of if you can look into the webcam right now, if you can look and see what I'm doing, I just, you know, I like to just like plug in different things and see how it affects the image, and then I can understand it, you know, because I'm like really being hands-on with it, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, honestly, because I just never want to go through the labor of reading everything, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a spoiled 2020 boy.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of prompted me to get good when it came to this sort of stuff was shooting on film. And I hate to say that because it makes me sound like a snob, and I guess maybe in some respects I am a snob. But shooting, like, when you're shooting on film, there's really like, you really have to know your stuff. You know, you can't like fall back on anything. So it's a very sort of like you have to be disciplined, you know, when you're shooting on film.
Yeah.
And it's just, and if you can like fall into a sort of like disciplining yourself, you know, with something, you end up getting pretty good at it. Not that I'm saying I'm the best.
It's kind of cool. There's it's almost like it's like putting a fire under your ass in a way, because it's like you got to do it right and you got to do it well, or it's not going to come out properly and you're fucked. It's not just digital. You can't just fix it in post.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I mean, yeah, and you're not seeing what you're going to get, because it's like when you're shooting on film, you can look through the viewfinder and you can see how it looks through the lens, but that doesn't mean that it's going to look like that when it actually hits the celluloid. It's going to look different. So, you know, the viewfinder's good for seeing how the lens is interpreting it, and seeing the framing and stuff like that. But you have to already know how it's going to look, because you understand the color temperature, you understand the ASA of the films. Excuse me. You understand the ASA of the film stock and everything like that. What is the most film-like video game? All right, so Glink and I had this discussion on my channel earlier this year about our video games Kino. We had a big discussion about this, and a lot of people kind of resented my take on it, but I still stand by my take, is that what I actually look for in video games, is not their storytelling, and it's not their, how cinematic they are. I look for good gameplay. I look for fun gameplay in games. Like, most game stories kind of suck. You know, like, honestly,
sort of.
I don't know. Even some of the better game stories.
The intro to the first BioShock is still like one of the greatest moments for me.
BioShock was pretty good.
About?
Yeah, where you're on the plane and you crash and stuff like that. Yeah, but I mean,
the whole like, no, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. And all that whole thing. When you're like being introduced to Rapture.
Yeah, I mean, it does introduce you to the world, but I would say that's, I mean, you're looking at your eyes. It's not as cinematic. Like, that's more like immersing you in the game world. It's like, I don't even know if I would consider that like
it's like a hybrid
thing. Yeah,
it's like kind of cinematic, because like the shot of like Rapture in the water when you first see it is very cinematic, but then it's also from a first person perspective, so it's like, but then you could argue that like someone like, what's his name, is it Danny Yanofsky, is that his name? Am I getting his name wrong? The guy who does like Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, Darren Aronofsky.
Like, he does a lot of like first person perspective shots too, I guess.
Yeah, he does handheld stuff. He does a lot of like handheld kind of POV stuff. I hear they're making a Metal Gear movie. Yeah, isn't Oscar Isaac playing a Snake?
Wait, really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look this up on the Internet Movie Database. Metal.
But I totally agree with you about the games are about gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are games that are about like creating an experience that is not necessarily like a complex gameplay experience. Like what's that like old PS3 game? God, I can't remember what it's called. It was like that game where it was like an indie game where, whatever. I'm not gonna remember what it's called, so it doesn't matter. But anyways, the point is that I do agree. Gameplay is what matters.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's why I keep coming back, and that's why there's games, like the Ubisoft games. They put a lot of stuff into their cinematics, yet their gameplay is so repetitive. It's so just like
Yep.
cyclical. Where I tried playing Far Cry 5 because I got it for like $10, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this a go. And you're just kind of, you're just, Vince, you've already said this joke before. Vince, you tweeted this joke like 2 weeks ago. He says, I love playing games, especially mind games with my ex-wife. Dude, you tweeted that joke 3 weeks ago. I remember you tweeting that. Yeah, they already made a Metal Gear Solid film. It's called Escape from New York. Yeah, I mean, Snake and Metal Gear is like based off of Snake in Escape from New York. Like, cinematics don't work in a lot of games. You know, here's the thing with like games, right? And here's the thing with game stories, as I see it, is that game stories that I like are immersive game stories where you don't feel like it puts like it's trying to be a movie, right? I want to just use examples like a side quest, right, in like The Witcher, where you're influencing how the game is going, but you're always in control of Geralt. You know, you're always in control. It's always kind of based around. It's always kind of like based around what you do as the player. You choose what Geralt says and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, that feels more immersive, and I think that's more worthy of being in a game. Deus Ex is similar. Then when it takes away control, and it takes away control from you, and you just watch a cinematic, some CGI fest, you know, and might do a quick time event, and the quick time event is just, it's like saying this: we took away all the control from you as the player. So we took away the reason that you're actually playing the video game, but we don't want you to not pay attention to this cutscene, because honestly, I don't pay attention to a lot of video game cutscenes, you know. And they're like, we still want you to pay attention to it, so we're gonna have you like mash a button every couple seconds. But
well, what do you think about games like the Ace Attorney games or whatever, like Phoenix Wright, where like that's just like entirely story? It's like all there is, basically.
Well, I haven't played Ace Attorney. I had a Game Boy.
It's pretty fun.
I had a Game Boy Advance, and I think the only game I had on my Game Boy Advance was Wario. It was the Wario one
Wario Land 4?
Where you're in the pyramid.
Yeah, Wario Land 4.
Yeah.
Good game.
Yeah, and I beat that. That's like the only game I had on Game Boy Advance as a kid, because my parents were kind of like anti-video games. You know, they, not because of like, oh, it causes violence, just because they wanted me to like, you know, try to
do well in school
and be creative and things like that. So my time spent on video games, I had computer games, but the thing was is that it was easier to regulate like the computer games, because it's sort of like, oh yeah,
you're on the computer.
You get to spend 30 minutes in the computer room. You know, it's just it's like that. But with the Game Boy Advance, you know, I could play it at any time. So I only had Wario Land 4. But, you know, funny thing about Wario Land 4 is depending upon how you play the game, you get a different princess at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, and I always try to get the hot princess. That was like my goal. I was like, need to get the hot princess. I played it until I got the hot princess. And then I was like, okay, that's a canon ending. He gets the hot chick. Not the...
Did you ever play Wario World?
No, I didn't play Wario World. Slush might have. He's more of a gamer than I am.
I have Wario World, and it's a fucking atrocious game.
Wait, I'll be back in a second.
You have Wario World and what?
I said it's atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a weird fucking game, dude. Like, I feel like Nintendo really took a risk with that one. I thought it was nice though.
It did not pay off. You liked it?
I don't know. The thing that Kino's talking about with like there being princesses though, like Wario. It's funny because Wario World, the whole point was just that his money got robbed. That was basically it.
Yeah. It was like a very strange, like beat 'em up type of platforming game.
Yeah.
I'm actually holding the box in my hand right now.
Who's the hottest
For
princess,
Wario?
Kino? Who is the hottest princess?
Turkey Tom.
Turkey
He's 18 now, right?
Base red pilled princess.
T18 now.
He is, yeah.
Pyro farting and belching into people's mouth. That's a pretty hot princess, right?
Dude, yo, there's actually, I think there's pyro trap pics as well. Or, yeah, is there? Wait up.
There's
Him dressed
also
as a girl.
Jared Canalbauer trap pics.
Oh, yeah. I mean, each their own.
Best
This
game,
one's pretty good.
Best game with story is Red Dead 2.
The pyro thing, it's like, I just don't understand why he would be willing to, I don't know, participate in that kind of stuff with people who are like his fan base, I guess, or whatever. It's just, I would never want that shit to get leaked, you know?
Yeah, me too. Like, I wouldn't talk like that to people who are fans. But at the same time, like, he was 19 and the other person was 16.
Oh, is it years ago at the time or something? I don't.
Yeah,
I
it was
have
like a
not
couple.
been keeping
It
up
was
with
like a
this.
couple years ago.
I-
He was.
I was like 24 now.
Yeah,
It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, he was 19.
Okay.
The other person was 16. It's kind of like I'm kind of with Willie Mack on that, where it's like it's not that big of an
Oh,
age.
me too, for sure.
It's not that big of an age difference.
Oh, I
It's-
mean, dude, fuck, there's like fucking 25-year-olds sniping 17-year-olds from high school. Like,
yeah, it's just like
My
I'm like,
parents are
like-
19 years apart.
the thing is,
thing is,
that
though, it definitely depends where you're from. Like, the fucking
yeah.
standards or whatever.
the thing is
Yeah.
that
I don't know, in
like,
the States. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
the thing is that like people are. I think what's happening is people are projecting or like thinking that it's Pyro now at 24 talking to a 16-year-old like that. Now
Right, yeah.
the stuff he was saying was disgusting and was degenerate.
So fucking funny, though. So fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude, I really didn't think it was real when I first heard about this shit. I was like, what? It's a fucking meme. Like, I just thought it was like a joke. Like, it was like a, like, not even like a sexual thing. I just thought it was like a fucking ongoing meme or something.
Yeah, like who writes like I would sit in your lap and fart really loud, like things like that.
It's not even that I don't believe people would like be into that, but it's like, yo, that's pyrocynical. Like, the dude is literally a memer as a fucking career. How the
Yeah.
fuck is that like unironically a thing? That's hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's just sort of like I don't know. I thought the whole thing was kind of funny, and I thought that people getting really like upset about it either way were low IQ. It's just sort of, it's just sort of like
Well, I mean,
it's
that's just like
embarrassing.
stan culture, sort of, or
Yeah.
whatever, or fanboyism.
Yeah, exactly. It, like how I saw it, it's just like it's just something to laugh at. Honestly, that's how you don't try to cancel them. You don't try to do all this bullshit and start all this internet drama. You just laugh at them because it's funny. It's just embarrassing and it's funny.
Oh, yeah, it fucking sucks for Pyro. That's fucking,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, the only option is to kind of embrace it as just really dumb and really fucking disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really come out of that and be like, yeah, I'm still cool. I'm still like, I still have a solid
Memer.
fucking opinion of myself.
But the thing is too is like with like Pyro and that whole situation is people getting so up in arms, and I noticed this too just about YouTube drama in general is that it's all pretty. I can't say the R word, but it's all pretty R word,
Yeah.
And but people get like so upset at YouTubers, right? They get so upset at like this YouTuber did this thing, this there was another case recently where it was like this person was talking to a underage fan when in reality they were like 2 years apart or something like that. I see this all the time on Twitter, and it's like none of them are going after any of these like actual pedophiles in Hollywood. Like they're still like consuming crazy amounts of Hollywood stuff. They're still watching Kevin Spacey movies. There's Bryan Singer films, all this kind of stuff that. Whereas they're legitimate predators, like they're legitimate pedophiles out there, and it's this stupid like 15-year-old talk to a 14-year-old, blah blah blah, and it's like, who fucking cares? You know, like that one the one Pie Man thing on Twitter. It was like,
just because one's worse than the other doesn't mean that it's less bad.
no, but the thing is, it's like there was a case a couple of weeks ago where it was like, oh, one minor was talking to another minor. It was a 15-year-old who was talking to a 13-year-old and then found out she was 12. Oh no, it's like, who cares? 19-year-old
It's like TikTok or shit.
No,
Like YouTube.
Small. It's the whole small commentary bullshit. You know, this is honestly.
Oh, like yeah. Okay.
Honestly, it's kind of fun to watch on Twitter, just to watch people spurg out at each other.
Yeah, no, there's like a real like underbelly of the commentary community that is just a fucking cesspool of people who are way too young to have like genuine opinions on things.
Well, that's most of the commentary, I would say. Like, if you look at the commentary community, it's all almost everyone's under 25. Like, what life experience do they have? You know, like,
Except for Keemstar.
Except for Keemstar. Keemstar is the best. He's
the youngest one.
Gamer from Mars is my same age. He's 26. But his stuff isn't, unless he's defending Frank Castle in the Boogie Frank Castle situation. He's not really like engaged.
Do you think the commentary community's young because it's just like once they kind of grow older, they realize how stupid it is? Or
yeah, totally. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I think so. You know, that happened to I Hate Everything.
Or even like iDubbbz. You know, he was doing like the content cops, and then now he's like, I regret doing those, and he like regrets what he did. Yeah, he was on an H3 podcast, and he was like, I regret what I did with those because it was so negative, and my fans still expect that now. So he's trying. Well, he's trying to do different things like that documentary he did on the Ice Cream Man.
The Ice Cream Man, yeah, the Dax Flame.
I like that.
It was good. I love that.
Yeah,
So,
I honestly want to see more of that kind of content.
Full Force, it was like the biggest fucking out of nowhere like impressive video I think I saw in like 2019.
100%.
Yeah, you know, I think that what happens honestly is young people get into commentary because you don't have to necessarily have a skill or a talent to get into
you have to have an opinion.
Yeah, like you just have to have an opinion, and you know, as the saying goes, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them.
Yeah, I mean,
also, when you're like,
in some cases, you don't even need an opinion, really.
When you're in your 20s, you think you fucking know everything. You know, like
exactly.
when you were 20, like you think I know everything. I know what everyone needs to do to fix their lives, and then you get older and you realize like, damn, what the hell was I thinking? Like I didn't know anything like I know now.
We got boomers on this stream.
My
here.
My take is that
what's your take, Slush?
When you look back on it and you're like, wow, I didn't know anything compared to now. You still don't know anything.
Yeah,
that's my take. You never know anything. Like even when you're at like you just always come to find out that you actually didn't know anything the whole time, and that your paradigm gets shifted, and that's what I think. That like there's always so much more that you don't know.
Oh, I 100% agree. You know,
didn't Aristotle say something like that? Or yeah, the older you get, the less you know.
Exactly.
Actually, Bono said that in a song.
Or Bono, yeah.
It was a U2 song. Wait, what U2 song was that? I gotta look it up. I don't want to hum it because I don't want to get claimed, you know. But yeah, it was a U2 song. You can look it up.
Do you guys like iDubbbz still, or
not really?
I do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what.
Oh no, you ask Chris.
Go ahead, sorry.
There you go.
Okay. I was just gonna ask, like, I don't remember him saying that he regrets the doing Content Cop. But yeah, no, I definitely still like his content. I think it's super fucking weird though, to be honest. Like sometimes I'll get a notification from him and it's like he's making straight up crackhead videos. Like, man, I don't understand. Sometimes I just don't understand what the subject matter is. That it's like he's been huffing paint for a day and then he just came up with a video idea. Like, yo, literally, like the fucking newest video, like which Chex Mix piece is the worst? Like,
I saw that one.
Fucking love it though. It's like so dumb and it's so niche that it's like it's impossible. You'd think nobody would want to make that kind of a video, but here it is.
I admittedly don't often click on those ones. I'm just like, this doesn't sound like I'm gonna be interested, so I probably just won't watch.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I honestly don't watch a whole lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of movies. But as far as the whole, like, the more you know, like, the more you know that you don't know anything, you know? It's also the case with film. Like, the more movies I watch, the more it feels like I'm, like, severely lacking in terms of how many films what films I've seen and everything like that.
I have a question. I have a very serious question. Do you feel like it is possible that you could watch so much film that it would make you a worse filmmaker? Do you think that the more you watch, the better off you'll be? Like, the more you're expanded your base of knowledge would be?
I think it depends. Like, I think that it depends upon, like, what you're taking away from the movies. And you could be a person that you really want to. Oh, hey, Trev is in the chat.
What's up,
like,
Trev?
you can be like how am I gonna put this? Like, you want to emulate everything that you watch, and so then when you make your own thing, it's like you've seen so many things that each scene, everything in your film, ends up being just a recreation or an homage or something to something that you've seen, and, like, at that point it's not original anymore. And you can be, like, so in your head about wanting, like, you know, like, maybe you want to make a film, you're like, it's gonna be a mix of Fellini and Antonioni and Godard and Dino Riso and all, you know, all these kinds of things, and you get so in your head about that, and you try to think how it's gonna function. You know, it's like, it's like young filmmakers who see themselves as like auteurs, and they try to, like, you know, establish all their auteur type of stuff. You know, they try to do these things that Godard or Truffaut did back in the day. Yep. And they get too in their heads about all the movies that they watch to the point where it's detrimental. But then there's also, like, the other side of it, which is kind of how I watch films, is that I've worked on a lot of films. I've worked on a lot of my own stuff, and I know, like, what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And when I'm watching other films, I'm interested to see what worked for these other people and maybe what didn't work for these other people, how they did things. But I'm definitely a person where I'm very sort of strong-willed in my own for my own vision, that I'm never really thinking about trying to recreate something or trying to. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, this will be like a cool little homage to put in here, but it's not like a big creative choice. It's when I write, when I do stuff like that, I don't think about any other movies, you know, that I'm trying to. I don't think about that. You know, I just think about the story.
I've talked to people who say, like, when they're making a certain type of video for YouTube, that they will intentionally avoid watching anything similar just in case it rubs off on them.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Like, copying.
I don't watch any film YouTube stuff.
Do that, yeah.
Didn't Quentin Tarantino work at a movie rental store? And he said he would just, like, sit there and, like, watch movies, like, day after day, and just, like, kind of take in everything. And
yeah, I don't watch.
That's why it's like,
because it's more like with art, like Picasso, how he said it's what is it, great artist steal, whatever it is. What's that quote?
Good artist copy, great artist steal.
Yeah, but
you guys, do you think that's relevant to art, like stealing, like?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean,
I feel like.
No, you go, Chris.
Go ahead, sorry. No, I was gonna say I totally agree with what you're saying. With like, you need to have, I think, the right mindset where it's like you're not watching shit and then just being fucking intimidated as fuck and, like, trying to be like, oh my god, I would never make something this fucking sick. You know what I mean? It's more like you have, like, your own fucking ideas, and then you watch shit, and the things that stand out where it's like, yo, I fucking really like that. That was cool. You let that, like, have a lasting impression on you, and then maybe down the line, it'll like kind of sculpt you a little bit more slowly and delicately than just, like, immediately trying to fucking swallow everything would. But I don't know. It definitely depends, because Tarantino for sure is, like, an example of a dude who just fucking he was fucking his life was basically just watching fucking movies, as far as I'm aware, for like 10 fucking years at least or something.
Yeah,
So,
no, exactly. And see, that's the thing is like with, you know, like, so the question of like, can watching too many movies, sort of be bad? I think that if you have a good basis of good foundation, because there's also the thing of like, right, if you haven't seen that many movies or if you haven't seen any movies at all, you won't know how to pull some things off. You won't know maybe that this actually does work or that this doesn't work. And so you integrate that into whatever you're making, and you don't know that it's been tried in the past, and maybe it like didn't pan out or something like that. And watching a lot of films does expand your horizons about what can be done in film. And I think that if you have a good foundation of films that you've seen, you know where film has gone in the past, and really the right mindset is to take all that and build on top of that foundation and think to yourself, where can film go in the future? It's not just like I want to be like this other guy. I want to be the next, Wim Wenders or something like that. It's kind of like, I like what Wenders did with this particular thing. Well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Wenders, but I know for myself, I have a very distinct personality. I'm not going to make the same film as him. I'm not going to make the same film as Linklater or as Wes Anderson.
I was going to say that, like, one of the things about, like, the whole great artist steal thing is that the artist who made, like, let's say, like, you're the artist and you saw something and you, quote-unquote, stole it to make something else. You might look at your art and be like, yeah, I just stole that. But everybody else is going to be like, nah, man, this is totally different than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's also like seeing like cliches, like if you've seen a jillion rom-coms and you understand how that goes, like you understand that that's a cliche, and you just like seeing stuff like that, so you're like, okay, I'm not going to do stuff like this because I've seen that a jillion times in movies,
exactly,
or tropes and stuff like that.
And that's a good thing, because a lot of like young writers, a lot of young filmmakers who haven't seen that much, all make very kind of similar style, like short films, because they don't know that it's cliche. Like that's the thing. That's why like a lot of student films are very like similar in terms of like what they're about. But I mean, it's also just because like when you're 18 or whatever, you don't have that much life experience, so you don't have that much to draw from. That's why like all those student films are about like breakups or something. Paul Schrader didn't watch films until he was 17 years old. Gokanaru, there's a good Paul Schrader movie that I think you would enjoy. Are you there?
Yeah.
It's called Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. Highly recommend it.
Just checking, Paul Schrader's the dude who wrote Taxi Driver, right?
Yeah. And he made Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. And then Oki's Weird Stories and I are doing a collaboration about a movie that Paul Schrader's brother wrote called The Man Who Stole the Sun. It's a Japanese movie. But Mishima is a great film.
I actually used a clip of that movie in my Rectal documentary towards the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very visually striking movie. I love the way it looks. But yeah, no, I think that it's just sort of like, it's like if you want to be any kind of artist, you want to make sure that you have a distinct voice. And I think that what's fun with being an early artist is trying to find your voice, and that's why it's fun to watch like a director's early works, because you can see how they're trying to find their voice. But it's also about having a good foundation, knowing where you're coming from, and knowing how to build on top of it without being intimidated by your foundation and without trying to revert back and just remaking something that has already been made. But the thing is, a lot of people don't really have that. They like to kind of just make the same stuff. Not a lot of people like to look forward and think.
Well, sometimes people like they change or evolve over time, and I find that I like what they were starting off with better than what they eventually landed on.
Yeah, I mean,
I know a lot of people. Like I've heard a lot of people debate about which like half of Paul Thomas Anderson's like filmography they like more, because there's like seems to be like a dividing line where they became much more like big and ambitious, and then before they were much more like indie Tarantino-esque.
No,
and some people like one more than the other.
The dividing line is his Heart 8, Boogie Nights, Magnolia were all like these big ensemble pieces that were very like Robert Altman inspired. And then after that, all of his films have been like singularly focused on one or two people, usually one or two men, which is like Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood, The Master.
I feel like Punch Drunk Love is like a weird one though, because it's like it's somewhere in between. It has what you're saying about being like focused on like one or two characters kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it just feels so different than everything that came before it and after it.
Yeah, it's like his transitionary film.
It's my favorite one of his, personally.
Really, my favorite one of his is The Master. I've seen
that one's really good too.
I've seen The Master so many times.
Yeah, it's a good
movie. Thomas Chan says, Yo, Kino Corner, any tips on how to be as based as you are? Look, look, you got to live the based lifestyle, okay? It's about living based and staying based. You can't give up. You can't give it up at any moment. That's because that's not based. So I guess.
So Kino, who's your favorite composer when it comes to making scores?
Oh, composer.
Like scores for movies and stuff like that.
Scores for movies, yeah. Recently, as far as like recent composers, I've really liked Alexandre Desplat. He did the music to like the Grand Budapest Hotel and to a bunch of stuff. I like Johnny Greenwood, you know, the the Radiohead guy who does all the Paul Thomas Anderson stuff. I would say Johnny Greenwood might be my favorite like modern composer as far as like 2010s era, like 21st century. As far as like 20th century stuff or like before, you know, I gotta say, the Lord of the Rings, Howard Shore is a bop. I can listen to that all the time. You know, the Lord of the Rings soundtrack slaps. You know, it's a great soundtrack. So I got, you know, most watched movie. Oh, I have no idea. Yeah. So John,
what's up with the obsession of American Psycho?
Oh, the obsession with American Psycho. Do you see my live stream right now? I love American Psycho. That might be one of my most watched movies. Is American Psycho. It's just a super fun movie. Like, it's a good film. It's got a lot to say, but it's also just hilarious. It's just super fun. And not a dull minute.
Super fun.
Not a dull minute in that movie. It's it's hilarious. I love it. I wanted to answer something John S. said earlier. He asked if I had seen Satan Tango. Yes, I have seen Satan Tango. I really like it. I was thinking about doing a video on it. I think next month I'm going to do a video on Come and See. I'm trying to make a series of making a masterpiece, right? So I think that my next two in the series are going to be Come and See and the Grand Budapest Hotel, because the Grand Budapest Hotel, I know like everything about the production of that film. I have like an encyclopedic knowledge of anything Wes Anderson. I know all the little things that they did to get all their different shots in the Grand Budapest Hotel. Writing that script will be super. I could write that script in the morning.
Which one's better, Grand Budapest Hotel or Moonrise Kingdom?
That's
Moonrise.
That's a very difficult question.
Yeah, they're very similar in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like the adventure, period piece, comedy sort of thing. But Moonrise is played out more like a Ken Loach film in a way. You know, like Blackjack. I don't know if you guys have seen. You guys probably haven't seen Blackjack. And Grand Budapest Hotel is more like a classic Golden Age Hollywood movie. You know, like it's a very like Lubitchian. Like, it's definitely inspired by like Lubitsch.
I think that one's more accessible. I mean, they're both pretty accessible, to be honest, but that one's more accessible.
I'd say that probably his least accessible movie is The Life Aquatic.
Royal Tenenbaums?
No, I'd say The Life Aquatic is his least accessible.
The Steve Zissou or whatever.
Yeah.
Steve Zissou. I just saw that.
I really like it. I have a if you notice in the Kino corner, I have a poster of it signed by Bill Murray in the Kino corner.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one of my prized possessions.
This is kind of.
It's
I was gonna say this is off topic, but
yeah. What's
up
up
with this Mr. Beast burger?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Wait, what?
Mr. Beast came
opened
out.
300 restaurants nationwide.
What?
And you can order a Mr. Beast burger.
A Mr.
Either
Beast?
Beast style, Chris style, Chandler style, Carl's grilled cheese, or Nashville hot chicken sandwich.
Wait,
And they
at
have
where?
sides.
Here, I'm gonna send you the tweet right now.
Oh, wait, it's
Yeah,
an
this-
actual chain called Mr. Beast Burger.
Yes.
It's a Mr. Beast delivery app for the Mr. Beast burger.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
That's crazy.
How is he doing it? I don't understand.
He's got to have
Yo,
venture capital behind him.
Wait up, no. As someone with the inside scoop, I believe he said that so how he did it is he contacted like fucking solid burger joints across the country, and it's basically like a revenue split where he has, let me just think, it's like he's commissioning basically these restaurant joints to package burgers with his branding and like to make burgers the way that he wants them to, and you can order it through Uber Eats and it'll go to those restaurants, and those restaurants will send the shit, and it'll technically like have Mr. Beast branding. I think that's how he said he was doing it. Yeah, no, it's smart as fuck.
It's like a white labeling of the burgers.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
fucking genius.
It's a pretty
I won't
clever
buy
way to
any.
use his like platform, I guess you could say.
Imagine
But it's
living,
good for all
yeah.
of the restaurants that are like, hit pretty hard with COVID and everything.
Imagine living
Yeah.
in Burgerland. Right, guys?
That's ingenious. You got to give him
I want
credit.
burgers.
He says, "Bruh, I'm waiting for the Kino Corner burger. It's nothing. It's a pack of cigarettes, Italian coffee, and a Criterion Collection film. And you don't have to eat lunch. You just take the little Italian coffee shot and just smoke a pack of cigarettes while watching a Jean-Luc Godard film or something. I don't know. I don't know what a Kino Corner burger would be. I have seen Nathan For You, Kim Jong-un. The Jojo Rabbit probably took a lot of inspiration from Moonrise. Yeah, it did. Definitely. Kino and Company choose which Eastern European film I watched tonight. You guys have any good Eastern European film recommendations?
No.
Nah.
All right, I got a recommendation for you, Alex Johnson. The Tribe. It's Ukrainian. The film is in Ukrainian Sign Language, and it doesn't have any subtitles, but it's really good. Thoughts on Godard's YouTube poop movies? You know, it's really funny you said that. I thought about doing a video with Emp Lemon. I thought about doing a video with Emp Lemon a little while back because I was, I was over at his place, and I was trying to. I was telling him, I was like, dude, like art film, and there's a big there's a big overlap between art film and YouTube poop. And it's true. If you look at Jean-Luc Godard's movies like The Image Book and what was his most recent movies? Because it was a couple movies. The Image Book just comes to mind. The first one that comes to mind. It's basically like an Emp Lemon video, but just French. The Image Book, Goodbye to Language, Film Socialisme. Yeah, it's all like YouTube poops, basically. But, it's YouTube poops that are playing at the Cannes Film Festival. And,
Yo, guys, I gotta go.
All right.
But thanks for having me on, Kino.
yeah,
And,
always
hope
good,
you guys
Slush.
have a great time.
Oh, we
All right,
will.
Later, guys.
See you, man. But yeah, so it's basically it's basically like a 90-minute YouTube poop. I couldn't really make it through. Yeah, that's The Image Book. I thought about doing like a video where I had like Emp or I try to convince Emp to make a video about it and like critiquing it like it was a YouTube poop.
Oh, you guys are streaming?
What's up?
Yeah. Oh,
You're
hey,
streaming,
Glink.
Kino?
Yeah.
What are you streaming? What is the convo about?
It's Saturday chill sesh is the thing. We're just chilling. We're just chilling here talking to chat.
Love it.
Zulovsky, Zulovsky's good. He's got this movie called Shamanka. I don't know if you guys in chat have seen Shamanka or have heard of it. That movie is crazy. It's great, though. I like Zulovsky.
If it's not inspired by Baudrillard, I don't want to fucking hear about it.
Yeah, we had actually, guys in chat, we had a really good discussion on the Gush channel a little while back.
True.
Yeah, you guys need to go check out Gush. Let me, here, I'm going to link it in the chat here. I'm going to link your channel.
Vince, I'm looking at your script. This thing is a behemoth.
It is.
Is that the Amazon script?
Yeah.
A lot of it's just more ideas.
It's more like a manifesto.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was reading Elliot Rodgers' manifesto, and I was just so inspired. Yeah.
That's my favorite book.
I was so inspired.
So my favorite authors my favorite like contemporary authors are Elliot Rodger and Ted Kaczynski.
The fuck up, dude.
You know, I saw this tweet the other day, and it's like, if your boyfriend or if the guy you know can spell Ted Kaczynski correctly without having to look it up, like that's a red flag. Based. And I was thinking, I can spell Ted Kaczynski without having to look it up.
Have you read the My Twisted World?
Actually, no. I've listened to Monkey Jones's videos about it though. All of his videos about My Twisted World.
You know what's crazy is I was in Santa Barbara the week that happened.
Oh, really?
And I remember, yeah, because I live like an hour away from there.
Yeah.
And we'd go travel up there to go party. There's like an area you can party. It's called Isla Vista.
Oh yeah, that's where he was. It was in Isla Vista.
Yeah, it was in Isla Vista. So he ran down. He like went into a 7-Eleven, I think, and like tried to shoot it up. And then he was like driving down like a bunch of houses, and that was when he was doing all this shit where he's like,
yeah.
It was just crazy though. I just remember how nuts it was because it was just I don't know. It was like the first time like the whole incel thing like really like had like real world consequences, you know.
That's where the incel stuff. I mean, there was incel violence in the 80s. There was that one case where it's like the guy, I don't know, stabbed a feminist or something, said that women ruined his life. But yeah, that was when the incel stuff sort of hit the mainstream, and I didn't even know that was a subculture. I mean, I knew about R9K before that, you know, like the wizards and stuff like that, like the third, like, you know, like if you're a virgin by the time you're 30, you get magical powers, you know, that lore, like that was pretty well known. But the incel stuff, especially for how old he was, like, come on, I mean, he still had time. He could have done something.
But a lot of it was like the first time it was like, because you know, it's kind of, that was like when Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of shit was blowing up. Like Reddit was like the big place to go for like the red pill and incels and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And
there's no,
I don't know, it was just kind of creepy because it was like, I remember reading that, just like hearing the whole story. It's just kind of like every guy can kind of somewhat relate to that.
Yeah, and
in a sense where it's like every guy's been through that phase where you don't get any chicks and you're like, man, just screw all girls. Like, I'm just gonna be a virgin for, like, every guy goes through that whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah. Oh, Thomas Chan asked, speaking of which, how the fuck did you meet Eggy?
Yeah, what's up with that story?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's not as like, it's not like that exciting. Eggy was friends with BG Cumby, and Cumby's one of my best friends, so I met him through him. That's pretty much it.
So what's Eggy's story?
So, I mean,
wasn't he like an incel or something, or?
No, he's been crowned king of the incels, but he's not an incel, like, by any stretch of the imagination. But he did his, like, so he would post selfies on 4chan, like, back in the day. And so he became a bit of a 4chan meme. And he
asking for it, dude.
Yeah, exactly though. And so he got dumped by his girlfriend. Like, there's a big thing where he like got dumped by his girlfriend and he was feeling really down. He made them take the black pill video, which blew up. And then when he was vacationing like in Oregon or something like that with another girlfriend of his, there was a school shooting nearby, and people on 4chan memed it so that they said that it was him who did it. Kind of like the Sam Hyde thing, you know, where it's like anytime there's any kind of violence, they're like, it's Sam Hyde. So they did that to him, and then he became kind of a mainstream thing, and people just were like, oh, this is the incel guy or whatever, because he made the Take the Black Pill video and all that kind of stuff. But now he does like freestyle rapping, and right, not just freestyle, he just makes like...
Wasn't he in Turkey Tom's video? Like, the one where he's talking about, Simi and Jimmy? The one where he's talking about why he really got canceled, or it was kind of like the whole back...
Yeah, I think
like his whole theory on it?
Yeah,
oh, because he showed that Eggy got visited by the FBI.
Yeah, and Eggy kind of blew up on YouTube again after the Black Pill video because Primink made a video on him.
Mm-hmm.
Primink made a video on Eggy, and that video kind of like shot Primink up, but it also shot Eggy up, like as far as like visibility goes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's had an interesting career as a content creator. I really like his raps, like they're funny, you know. And he's really good at freestyling. You know, if you see him just like if you're just like chilling out with him and he gets in the freestyle thing, Primink. No, I think it got taken down, the Primink video.
I want to do a freestyle stream or something with Eggy, because I'm decent at it. Or at least I have been in the past.
You should. He'd be down for it, man. He's in our server. He can join in.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I guess he could technically join right now.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, do you see? I posted. He did a Kino freestyle on my stream last week, and I posted that to my second channel. Kino Corner 2.
Might even call it scrambled egg. Runny egg.
Let me look up my second channel here. Eggy's Kino rap. Let's see. Yes, no dislikes.
Oh, it's Kino.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
I got it right here, yeah.
Oh, wait. Maybe I should just, like, here, let me see if I can just play it on the OBS here. Let me add on browser. Okay. It's going to take me a sec because I'm kind of a boomer when it comes to OBS. A lot of these kids, you know, they love the...
What do the kids love?
Fuck. They love OBS. Wait a sec. Give me a second, guys. Sorry for my boomer... No thanks. Sorry for my boomerness.
Oh, it's Kino. Oh, we know. Hey, and now you know. Oh, yeah.
I know.
We know. We show. Oh, we're gonna show out tonight. Oh, yeah. We're gonna do it right. Oh, we're gonna Spitfire Ignite. Oh, yeah. We're doing that live. Oh, I'm on YouTube.
I'm already getting my soy face ready for Nintendo Land opening.
Oh, I got bitches. Oh, well. Cause I hate bitches. Oh, well. Fuck it, I'll put some stitches in them.
Land?
Oh, well. Yeah.
Dude, look at this
put
shit.
Bitches in them.
I'm
Oh, well.
looking at it right now.
Check out this video. Tell me that doesn't like fucking... Tell me that doesn't just pull out the soy Wojak face in you.
Soy Wojak.
This is, first of all, just
oh my god.
Official Super Mario Cafe.
Just click that video. Oh my god, that does look tasty though, the stuff he's eating. I can't lie.
Alright, Chris is gone. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. Everyone go sub to... Chris.
Chris?
Yeah. Everyone go sub to Gokanaru. Gokanaru, he's a good content creator. He says he'll be releasing Hong Kong Part 2 very soon. So go sub to him. It was
hype.
Yeah, it was
Dude,
very...
His voice sounds so different. It sounds way deeper.
He's always had a
because he's trying to act cool on stream.
He's always had.
I didn't even recognize him until you said anything. I was like, damn.
He's like, yo, what's up? I'm Gokanaru. Yeah, what's up, dude?
I'm Canadian.
So this guy's.
What's up, Kino?
So we got the soy boy, ultimate Nintendo soy boy fan.
Bro, yeah, look at this.
This guy's like the definition of like. Oh my god, dude.
Just skip ahead a bit, and you'll
just
see.
Skipping around.
Yeah, just skip around. You'll see this. Like, come on, that stuff does look pretty tasty.
It looks good, but.
Not the shake, but like the cream-filled sandwich or whatever with fruit. I would demolish that.
Oh my god.
Gokanaru is.
But it does look like it's like very.
You're right.
infantile, kind of. You know, it's like very.
This is like living with your parents till you're 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, let me post a link.
Oh man, the Luigi one has grapes in it.
Let me post a link in the chat here.
Do you think that Nintendo's fan base is a majority of people like this, or like not majority?
No, not a
but
majority.
Not a majority, but the people that spend the most. Like Nintendo looks at these people as like the ultimate customers because they're spending way more because they have a bunch of discretionary income. They're single.
No, I don't think so.
That's a good point.
I say this because
they're the ones buying the limited editions. They have 5 Switches that are the Animal Crossing version and the Mario version, and I don't know. What do you think? You know,
tons of kids play Nintendo.
Oh fuck! I should do a stream.
Literally, yeah. Let's double stream.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna do a stream.
Okay. Tons of.
Let me fire up my obs, as you call
it. I've never streamed because I'm afraid it's like no one's gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just like I don't know.
Well, if you stream on Twitch, that's fine. If you stream on YouTube, that's a nightmare because nobody's gonna be there, and you're not even like building towards. You're kind of like probably hurting your channel, you know.
Yeah.
But if you stream on Twitch, you can have that same thing that you just described happen, but at least it will. It's like a separate thing, you know. Like you could be building a Twitch channel technically.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's not gonna like. There's not repercussions like streaming on YouTube and having 0 hits versus like Twitch, where it's like no one sees it, no one saw it, and that's fine.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then if sometimes slowly you'll get people to see it and then start following, and then you could slowly build a following that's like organic on Twitch.
I don't know much about Twitch. I don't really think I'll ever move over to Twitch because my main my main thing is making videos, and the streaming stuff I just do because I like my community and I just kind of like hanging out with them. I like just like talking to the chat and everything like that. I won't ever make a
You're never gonna make it.
I'm never gonna make a career out of streaming.
It's a joke.
I'm never gonna make a career out of streaming. Like, I would almost rather just kind of like this is my version of just calling up if my fans lived close by. I would almost rather be like, hey, let's all go meet at the bar and grab drinks together and talk shit.
Let's all meet at Disneyland, Disney World.
Yeah.
Dude, Disney World is open and you're in the big FL. You should go and like do Disney World's apocalyptic COVID stream or meetup or video.
Well, I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere now because I think I was exposed to COVID, so I'm kind of in lockdown right now. I'm quarantined.
Oh, I don't.
Disneyland right next to me has been closed since the beginning of COVID. They've still been closed, and it's just like
Disneyland is closed, but Disney World.
Yeah, Disney World's open.
It's crazy how many businesses are going out. Like a lot of the hotels, a lot of like the restaurants that are all around, like especially the convention center right there. They're all just like shutting doors, just going out of business.
Dude, you're not allowed to talk about that. What are you talking about?
Why not?
Yeah, Trev's dead.
Can we ban this guy? Misinformation.
Yeah, I'm canceling.
Warning label. I need a warning label.
Mod?
Let's get the Jannies in here.
You're not allowed to talk about the economic effects of locking down business for an entire year.
Okay.
Okay.
It's for the good. Yeah. It's for the good of the people. So,
I want to say, Trev says Twitch is fine from being run by idiots. Twitch is fine aside from being run by idiots. I would say make a second channel for live streams on YouTube. You know, I thought about streaming from the Kino Corner to my second channel.
Ah, me too.
But it's not monetized, so I can't get like
you can't get super chats.
I can't get super chats or anything like that.
That is
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you think streaming on your main channel hurts your metrics? I've heard some people say that.
No. So Wang told me that when he streams on his main channel, it actually helps his metrics. And the thing is, so I tested that out. So after I released my Citizen Kane video, I streamed a couple days after, and then my Citizen Kane video got a bump in views.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Do you think it has something to do with like it's pretty much it's like the audience knowing that, hey, this is what I do is like live streams, and people know that Wang does live streams, but for someone random that just does a random live stream, I think people aren't really like willing to go see that. Because it's like you see these people that have like like 50,000 subscribers, but then on their stream they get like 1,000, 2,000 people watching
or like
it.
me, I get like 100 viewers or like 200 viewers.
But they also
kind of
set
looks like an L. But I think, well, if I could just weigh in real quick, I think the amount of support you get, especially not just with super chats monetarily, but like the people who do show up, I feel like are usually pretty into your stuff, and so even just as like a morale boost, it's sometimes nice too.
Dylan Smithy says, get an OnlyFans account and do some artsy images and videos. Maybe I should make
such a good idea.
I like Kino, like short films that, you know, have risque content in it, and I can put that on my OnlyFans. But I'll make it like real Kino stuff, you know, like good short films, you know, that are artful and everything like that. But they have some risque scenes. And
or you can just put them on Pornhub.
Well, do
you know how much money you can make with Pornhub?
It wouldn't be porn though. Like, I'm not ever gonna make porn. But you know, it's like when you're watching like Midnight Cowboy, right? Have you seen Midnight Cowboy?
No.
You know, so Midnight Cowboy has plenty of nudity. It has plenty of sex in it, but it's by no means is it porn. You know, it just has the stuff in it. Did you study film at all? Yes, I did.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Trinity College Dublin.
Did you graduate and everything?
No, I left after my second year because it was a crock of shit. I was literally paying $16,000 a year.
You're paying out the fucking wazoo.
I was paying.
Wait, so why did you go to Dublin, like Ireland,
it was cheaper.
right?
So I got into NYU. I got into basically like all the colleges that I applied to because I was a whiz kid back in the day. And so I had my pick of the litter, but it was cheaper to go to Ireland, and I had applied to some of the colleges in Europe. And I had been to Dublin. I had friends in Dublin. Like my grandparents were from Ireland and everything like that. So I was like, okay, well, it's, I'll go stay in Ireland. And so I did 2 years there, but I realized that what happened in my second year, and that's kind of what made me like leave, is that there was a complete like replacement of a lot of the professors. So the professors that I really liked in my first year.
Good luck with the stream. I'm gonna do my own stream.
Oh, okay. See you, Glink. Oh, is he leaving? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll probably be on for another. What? I'll probably be on for another 10 minutes or so. But yeah, so anyway, so they replaced a lot of the professors and everything like that, and they got new people in, and the new people really didn't know what they were doing, and my classes really just kind of boiled down to like, here's a movie watch list. Just watch these movies and read some articles about the films, and then it was like finals or like doing some bullshit essay. I honestly do a lot more academic work, film studies related, for my YouTube channel than I did for my college. College was so easy, but when did you go to Trinity? I went there 2012 to 2014. All right, see you, Trev.
In Ireland, right?
Yeah, in Ireland, yeah. 2012 to 2014.
How was that living over there?
Honestly, it felt the exact same as living in the States, if I want to be honest. There wasn't much of a difference. Ireland is kind of, it like in the Western world, I've lived all over, and if you're in an English-speaking place, it honestly all kind of like feels the same. Once you're in a place long enough, like you don't really think of it as Dublin. You just are like, yeah, that's where my apartment is, that's where my flat is, this is where my work is, that's where my college is. You know what I mean? You just kind of think of it in those terms. You don't think of it as anything that magical. But yeah, I realized that I was pretty much just paying out the nose to I realized I was paying out the nose to basically get a list of movies that I had to watch, to get like a must-see movie list sort of thing. And I just didn't see it as worth it. I was like, it's not worth it. I wanted to work in film. I didn't want to do a lot of academic stuff with film. I wanted to be on set. As I said, I'm a very hands-on guy. Like, I'm very much like, I have to be doing something. I have to be making something. And so I just didn't like the stuff that we were doing in my college. It just didn't feel fulfilling in any way. It just didn't feel I didn't feel like I was learning anything. I felt like everything I was learning outside of college. That everything I was getting in my classes was just sort of BS. And it didn't help that all the new professors that they brought in just weren't that good and couldn't have given a shit about their classes. And you know what I mean? And I just felt like I was getting just robbed, and that it was better. And I got a mentor at that time who worked in Hollywood, and who was a very successful screenwriter in Hollywood. I won't mention his name, but I'm sure everyone here has seen something that he's made. And he told me to just kind of go out and try to find work, and like more like apprentice type, like try to be like an apprentice type thing. And then another guy, I went up to Belfast, and I took this extracurricular class, producing class by the guy who made the King's Speech. And I had a big talk with him about what I should do, and he told me to take a gap year or two from college and get to working in the film industry and get some on-set real world experience, and then see how that fit me, and if I still wanted to go back to college after that, I could, but to try to get real world experience, because college wasn't giving me anything that I need. I wasn't learning anything that I needed to know from college. Everything that I was learning regarding film was something that I could learn by myself. And I love, I'm a super curious person. I love reading about how films were made or analyses and stuff like that. I love reading that kind of stuff. I probably do more of it now than I did back in college, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm a very curious person, and I love learning new things. It's and I retain, my memory is just I remember everything. Thomas Chan, what's your legitimate question? You said, did you study film at all? Is that the legitimate question? Kim Jong-un says, Kino got some Irish babes. You want to know? I was a little bit disappointed in the women in Ireland, I gotta say.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed.
Was there a lot of girls there?
Yeah, there were a lot of girls in my class, but I wasn't necessarily attracted to any of them.
Do you think it had something to do with the fact that you're studying film and not studying something else?
Well, no, it's not even like the girls in my film class. Trinity's not like a big college, so everyone kind of gets to know each other. Just across my year in general, there weren't that many, you know what I mean? I just wasn't too into many or any of the girls, if I'm going to be honest. I wasn't too attracted to anyone there. I lived a monk-like existence of just watching movies all the time. I mean, I had a lot of friends, but I wasn't, as far as the dating situation goes, it was a little bit spare. But of my own accord. He says, I just graduated from drama school at TU Dublin. It wasn't the best time, but I learned a lot. You had to do a lot of reading. So did you ever perform in the Samuel Beckett Theater? I saw a lot of, my friends were in drama. A lot of my friends were in drama, and they're, and I liked going to plays. I saw a few plays at the Abbey Theater. That was always fun. Yeah, as far as film goes, it was kind of a week. But the thing is, it's the other colleges I could have gotten into, I couldn't afford. I couldn't afford NYU, I would have gotten so much in debt if I went to NYU, and I'm glad I didn't. I did learn a lot more from getting on the sets. I ended up, working on big sets and everything like that. And the funny thing is that after after my compatriots, after my peers graduated, I knew more about film or movies or like any of that than any of them did. And in fact, like in their last year, they would text me and like consult with me about papers they were writing and stuff like that. Are we allowed in the staff room, Kino? No, staff only. And this clinic only has a staff of 3 people. And we took a photo because we had our office Christmas party yesterday. You know, an office Christmas party with 3 people, and there's another like business that's like conjoined to this, so 4 people. And I realized I'm like a foot taller than everybody. Everybody I work with, and I don't ever think about how tall I am, but Roy O'Connor, I performed in the Smock Alley Theater, a Philip Pullman play based on the Grimm Tales. Oh, okay. I don't think I saw anything in the Smock Alley Theater, but I definitely saw a lot in the Samuel Beckett Theater. Yeah, because that's right there in Trinity. A lot of my friends were in drama there, so I would go and support them. Kino is a god amongst men. I wouldn't go that far. So, Vince, what about you? You graduate college?
No, I didn't graduate.
Yeah,
I went to school for probably like 2-3 years, and then I was in a fraternity, and I just like partied too hard, and then just kind of dropped out.
That's a big story. Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. I mean, here's my take on college, is like my take on college is that if you want to get into a business that really requires college, then definitely go. If you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you're going to have several years of schooling behind you to get it done. So you definitely need to go to college. But if you want to be, you know, if you want to work a regular job, or like most jobs that don't require, you know, like all this specialization, you know, because the doctors, it makes sense, right? Having all those years of learning everything about the anatomy of a human, of learning all this, you know, all these different diseases, learning how to treat, you know, like there's a lot of knowledge you have to have. It makes sense. You have to go to college, you have to go to medical school, you have to do residency and internship. You know,
there's just like there's some things where it's like there's no other way to get there without going to school, like doctor, exactly. You know, lawyer. But you also make a huge income when you come out. Like my sister, she just graduated with her PhD, and so she's like studied physiology. But like coming out of school, I mean, I think she's making like $60-$70 an hour. Yeah. Which is absolutely insane, but she also has I think over like $100,000 in debt.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is you have.
But it's worth it to put yourself in debt if you're getting that guaranteed. Like, but if I was studying something, if I was getting like a master's in, I don't know,
history.
Like art history, history or whatever, it's like that's not so guaranteed at that point.
It's not guaranteed income, and you're going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And the thing also,
at the end of the day, college is an investment.
It is an investment. And what people also need to realize with college is that it's not just like, so when you're looking at how much college costs per year, people are like, oh, it's $50,000 a year. You know, if like say for everything, it's $50,000 a year. It's way more than that because you have to factor in time lost. You have to factor in time that you're not in the workplace making money, right? So for 4 years, you won't be working or working as much as you could be, you know? For 4 years, you're not. Yeah. Like, so you're also losing all that potential income.
Well, it's like the time, and then it's the experience, and you know everything else. But I think I mean, honestly, it's like I sometimes regret that I never graduated, and then sometimes I'm like, no, I'm okay where I'm at. But I mean, I definitely think it's like I think a lot of it why school's so expensive is because it's the government grants they give out. Yeah, because it's like these schools know, like let's say that there was no government grants, whatever the schools charge, people had to pay. Not a lot of people would go. But the fact that people can get, you know, Cal grants and all these kind of grants, you know, the schools know they can charge this, so they can charge, you know, if they know everyone can get a $15,000 grant, well, they're going to charge $15,000 more because they know the government's got it. You know? I think if there was no grants, colleges would have to be they would have to compete. Like they would have to be very cheap on price because no one could go. But also look at it like, why is there more bullshit degrees today than there was 30 years ago? And it's because schools know, it's like they offer these dumb degrees. They know people are going to take out loans and try to go to the school,
and you can't
and not really caring about
loans. Like,
yeah, like that's the whole goal of it.
Yeah, it's basically indentured servitude. Like the whole student loan thing is like indentured servitude of the managerial class. And Dylan Smithy points out, he says, I just love how colleges in the States are not giving a discount in the tuition even when classes are virtual.
Oh, and the whole part of going to school, like if I got into Stanford and I was to pay $60,000 a year to go to Stanford, a huge part, whatever I learn at Stanford, I'm sure I could learn it at a different school. But you're paying for the networking and the connections and the fact that you graduated from Stanford. But that's still, really what the experience you pay for. And the fact that it's virtual, it completely takes that selling point out of it.
It does.
Most people put their kids. It does.
It does. Yeah, and the thing is too is like, you're paying for that networking, you're paying for that stuff, but then you're still seeing people who come out of Stanford, who come out of Harvard and Yale and stuff like that, with these bullshit degrees working at Starbucks.
That's because there's a focus on the schools just want to take in as many people as they can. So to do that, you have to cater to so many different people. It's like if you look 30 years ago, there wasn't these crazy degrees that you could get like today. Yeah, it's like back then the schools, colleges, it should be looked at as an investment.
Yeah,
like if I'm going to be an engineer, I'm going to like my sister's a doctor. Like she spent $100,000 on school. My parents helped her out too, but that's an investment. She came out. She's making $60-$70 an hour, and she's going to pay off her debt eventually. Which is, I don't see any problem with that. And I think that's
like
I just when free college, I think is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, when you're working in that sort of like capacity, you know what I mean. When you're working to be kind of that upper echelon sort of professional, like a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, something like that, you have to invest that time because you have to have all that knowledge and all that time to understand, like to understand your job. Like it just takes that long to, to learn enough about your job to be able to do it. Like, that's the thing. But with most jobs, like most normal jobs people do, you learn most of it in your job training. I
agree. Like you learn most of the job like on the job, but it's more of like a college degree is more of like it's more of like a waiver of like I can commit to something for 4 years and actually finish it, because employers don't want to hire someone that they're going to work for a couple months and go to the next job, and they don't want that. They want to know that you did something, you spent 4 years at it. Like
although I know
that's why a lot of jobs are like we don't really care what degree.
Although I have some friends who are like,
and that's why I think the whole free college, the free college argument really falls, because it's like you have all these kids coming out of school and they still can't get jobs. So what would free college make that? Would that make the situation better? Probably not.
I think that not to get too like political here, but I think that
I'm not trying to get political, but
but my thing is that I think that the university should pay for like if there's going to be student loan debt forgiveness or whatever, I think that there should be a lot that falls on the university, because there have been a lot of stuff that's shown that the more money governments give colleges, the more they hike up their tuitions. Like tuitions now are so much larger than tuitions back like when our parents went to college, and not just like adjusting for inflation or anything like that. It's like
just like they're in.
Are you there?
Like just like standard or Stanford's endowment. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Now.
Yeah. Like Stanford's endowment that they get.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here. So Stanford has, just in 2019, they got $27 billion. Harvard in 2020 got $41 billion in endowment, which is absolutely insane. And it's like they're keeping this money. They pay no taxes on it. Why can't you use that money to give out more scholarships and lower prices for students?
Yeah, and
like I think it should be where it's like Stanford, Harvard, all these schools. If you get into Stanford Med School,
Yeah.
and you're going to be a doctor, I think that should be free. I think Stanford should pay for that because that's a job that we need. It's super expensive.
And here's the thing about doctors is that the climate for doctors is getting worse. There's a lot. I mean, I work in a clinic. I see this a lot. Like there are hospitals where they're trying to replace basically doctors with nurses because nurses are, you can basically make a nurse in 2 weeks, and they're a lot, they're a lot cheaper. But the thing is that they get stuff wrong. Like, you know what I mean? There's more malpractice when you don't have actual doctors there. But there's less and less. There are less doctors. The climate isn't as nice on doctors now. It's more expensive. It's more and more expensive to go through medical school.
Well, even like being a doctor, like if you want to, my sister was saying, like if she wanted to start up her own practice, I mean, she would have to go get malpractice insurance.
Yeah. We're running on. I'm going to end this stream at 3 hours, so in 15 minutes. But I'm going to be back in a second. I have to use the bathroom.
Sounds
good. Keep them entertained, Vince.
College is a scam. Trade school is where it's at. I 100% agree with that. Actually, I don't agree college is a scam, but I definitely think trade school is very undervalued. It's like you can go to school and become a plumber, and they pay for your school for 4 years. So for all 4 years, they pay for you to be an apprentice. I think you make like 16, 17 an hour. And then once you get out, you immediately have a job in the trade union of the plumbers, and you're making... No. I'm saying they pay you 16, 17 an hour to be an apprentice to go to the plumbing trade school. And then after you get out, I mean, you make like... I know plumbers in San Fran make like $110,000 a year, which is absolutely insane. Trade school costs so much more money than that. Then how much does it cost? I know it costs a lot, but... I don't think Quentin Tarantino went to college. I'm not sure, though. A college degree does not mean... It means more to the employer. Yeah, from my knowledge is that he just worked at a video store, and then he just sat there and was, like, bored out of his mind and just, like, watched every film that he possibly could. And a porn school? I didn't know he worked at a porn school. That's crazy. Have you guys been to college? Anyone here in the chat?
Yeah. Is anyone in the chat
porn
going
school?
to college?
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un's porn school. I'd like to see that.
Oh, 100%. College is... Yeah. I think the main reason they charge these insane prices is just because the government gives out grants. And these colleges know that this is something everyone can get, and they can charge way higher prices. I just looked it up right now. Just to go to Stanford University, it's $74,000 a year before aid. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Like nothing.
And then after the aid, which includes grants, scholarships, and from all that, it's $12,000 a year. I don't know. The whole thing's just crazy. I think. Ugh.
I mean, even like 12,000. Like, it's funny, over in Europe, they pay like a base fee out. They pay like 1,000 euros a year or something like that. That's what they're paying. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot cheaper, and what colleges do too is just sort of like make you take these bullshit classes that you don't need, but you have to have like so many credits before you can graduate. Like you have to have so many credits before you can actually graduate, and it's like it forces you to take these bullshit classes, so you have to pay into stuff for like that you don't even want to learn about,
But I have to disagree with that because it's if you're going to get a Stanford degree and you're going to go out in the world being known as a Stanford graduate, they want to make sure that you're not just super specifically focused on this one thing that you're doing. Like if I'm going to be like an engineer, that's all I know. Like they want to know that you've learned like math and you've learned English and you've learned you have some culture in you, maybe a second language.
No, I'm not talking
because it looks bad on. Oh
no, I'm not talking about
like with the credit
the
thing.
First 2 years. I'm talking about like my sister went to Baylor, and she had to take like these. She had to take a hiking class where all they would do. I mean, it sounded fun, but it's still like the class cost several thousand to do. But it's like, oh, we just went hiking around the university, and it's like, did you learn anything? Oh, not really. And I'm like, why would you pay?
Did they force her to take it?
Yeah, they forced her.
Or was there other? Was there other classes she could have taken?
No, that was
the
like,
one that she chose because it's the easiest. That's what I would have done.
No, that was like a forced class. You can hike for free, is what Anne Frankenberry says. Yeah, exactly. I was in Boy Scouts.
Yeah, but there's hiking skills that you learn. You know,
I know
proper ways to hike.
But it's
no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
There's something you could, it's something you can learn in Boy Scouts at the age of 5, at Cub Scouts. It's just for me, like the hiking stuff, like how to make a fire, all that kind of stuff. That's all basic stuff. I grew up going into nature, into the woods a lot. So maybe just for me, it's just I think that's basic. But
like going to trade school, it's like I don't like when you see those trade schools where it's like become a mechanic and blah 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 blah. Like I think those are bullshit. But it's like end of the day, going to like a trade school to become like a plumber, because no one wants to be a plumber. No one wants that. Like, oh, you're a plumber. But plumbers in San Francisco, I think they make $110,000 a year.
They make a lot,
and it's
of money,
like, yeah, full benefits from they make so much money, like,
yeah.
But it's just no one wants to do it, But you got to go, just to go to plumbing school, or like they call it like the apprenticeship, they pay you $17 an hour to learn for 4 years.
Yeah.
So instead of paying money to go to trade school, they pay you to go to trade school, and then once you get out, you got a guaranteed job. You could go anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, and it's a job that AI could never take, automation could never take. No, you can't have people come in from out of the country that come in and flood the job market and make things cheaper. It's a very specialized trade.
Yeah,
I think plumbing is like, if everything in my life went to shit, I would go be a plumber.
Roofers where I live make a ton of money. Every time a hurricane comes through, dude, they make bank.
Oh yeah, Florida.
Yeah, like they make a ton of money. Kino, are you an Eagle Scout? No, but a lot of my friends were. I wasn't in Boy Scouts long enough to be an Eagle Scout.
Same here. I was a Life Scout.
Yeah.
I got to Life, and then I was like,
we have yet to see a successful graduate from the Jake Paul YouTube school. Hey, there's still time, right? Or no, he shut that down like literally right after he made it.
Have you seen that case with the Boy Scouts and the sexual assault cases?
Yeah,
and
it's
they're going to file for bankruptcy.
The thing with the Boy Scouts is that they really lost their way. It was like when I was a kid, it wasn't weird. It was basically the local dads who were taking their sons, like out to teach them how to like make fires and shoot guns and stuff like that. And it was pretty wholesome stuff. But then the Boy Scouts were like taking in girls, and I don't know, like it just be like it's something, it's a boys club. I don't know, like it's something you could see coming, but at the same time, it's been on a downwards.
It was just kind of because there would be like these high adventure camps that we would do. So we'd go to like Canada, go canoeing for like 2 weeks. And I remember in the high adventure, it was like the high adventure scouts thing. Like they would have girls that would work there and were in it as well. But like as far as like our local troop, it was like all boys. Mm-hmm. But I think now, it's just like you said, like it's just kind of what was coming.
It's been a downward spiral for about 10 years. I would say about 10 years it's been on a downward spiral. Like it going bankrupt is it's kind of like, yeah, I guess it's kind of sad that it's gone, but I could see this coming from a mile away.
Right here. Like, did you know the Boy Scouts have to let girls in, but boys can't join Girl Scouts?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I mean, I know with the Girl Scouts that they had, there was like a transgender girl that wanted to join.
Yeah.
And then there was like this huge case and ended up like suing, and because, it's like a prepubescent girl, or it was a man transitioning into a woman and didn't have, what I mean, like, because it's like essentially like they're a boy, but
I'm just laughing reading chat right now.
Yeah,
he said, didn't Bill Gates graduate from Jake Paul University? And then Jay says,
yes,
never invite women on boys night. Actually, that's pretty good advice though. Like I know Jay is kind of memeing, but they're like he's kind of memeing, but it's true. I do believe in like gender segregated activities.
Yeah, there's boys' night and there's girls' night.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like guys act differently, when we're just hanging out with other guys, and girls act differently when they're just hanging out with other girls. And I think that it's actually important socially for, like, because it's like when you go home, right? You're with your girl and whatever. You're with your family. There's gonna be a mix of women and girls and boys and whatever. But it's kind of like you need to have that outlet of just being around other guys, or if you're a girl, just being around other girls. Like that's really important. I think that it's important too for clubs to be gender specific. You have the women's reading club, and there's really no reason a man would want to join. Like, I wouldn't want to join a women's reading club, but it's important for them to be in it. Like I just think it's, I think that was a good thing. The Boy Scouts just being for boys and the Girl Scouts just being for girls, is that it's not just about learning how to camp or how to scout or anything like that. It's also learning how to socialize with people who are with other males, and having male bonding. And male bonding is very important for guys, just like female bonding is very important for girls. And there are things where it's like, yeah, of course, you shouldn't have gender segregation. If you're riding the bus, you shouldn't have like the men sit on this side, the women sit on the other side. Like, that's ridiculous. But
because it's like, if you have a bunch of like teenage boys together, and then you have like a couple girls, like all the guys will be trying to just talk to the girls, and they act completely different. And especially when you're like 13, 14, like, it
changes the dynamic.
The older you get.
Much.
Oh, 100%. Because then there's like this weird tension. So it's like, especially at that age, it's good to have like your boys' night, or hey, we're playing video games at my house. It's just me and whoever.
And Frankenberry says, boys learned how to build and gather food. Girls learned how to hand out cookies. Essential gender roles. I mean, though, it's
Girl Scouts make bank, dude. They make
a lot of money. Yeah, they make.
And I think that's a more valuable skill, like learning how to sell something. Like for the Girl Scouts, like that is such a good skill in life, because everything you do, you're trying to sell yourself. Whether it's like trying to get a job, you're trying to get your friend to do something, you're trying to convince people of your idea, trying to start an OnlyFans. Like, dude, selling is like, I think that's one of the most underrated skills that people don't.
Yeah, I mean, being a salesman,
they just don't try to acquire.
It's not only just like trying to sell something for the purposes of making a sale, but it's
like selling yourself.
It's like the art of persuasion, branding, all that kind of stuff. That's very important in today's day and age, especially, and it's a very useful skill.
Like you look at like Thomas Edison versus Nikola Tesla, and it's like Thomas Edison, he was an inventor, but what he really was a salesman. And Nikola Tesla, like, he was 100% an inventor, but he was not a salesman. So when they were doing the light bulb thing, it's like, that's why Edison could go around and sell people on the idea of it, in the future, selling the idea. But Nikola Tesla would just come up with these crazy ideas, and people would have to figure it out for themselves, which they did 100 years later, like, because even like a new invention, like, you have to sell people on this, like, hey, this is the future, like, this is going to change your life, you can't expect people to just know that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that
I think selling's a huge skill.
Oh, and Frank,
like, even for you,
he says nobody turned away Girl Scouts. Nobody bought those crappy cookies at the store. So when they showed up at your front door, you felt like you needed them. Yeah, like I think that all the cases where my family bought Girl Scout cookies was when they came to our door. Like, I never stop and buy it at the store. In fact, I don't even like Girl Scout cookies. I'm not a big sweets guy myself. But I'm not a big cookies guy. Like, if I'm gonna eat something sweet, I like pie, and I like ice cream, but I don't really like anything else. I don't like cookies. Yeah, the door.
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get some water.
I'm gonna head out too. Let me just wrap things up. See you, Vince. Thanks for hopping on. Always a pleasure to have you.
See you guys.
And
had a blast.
Yeah, it's always fun. So, guys, if you have any last comments, questions, concerns, let me check here. Let me check the community post to see if we have a definitive winner. Now that it's been a couple hours. the tides might have changed, and if it's no longer a tie, then I will declare a winner. So let's see. Let's go look at that. And put in your if you have any questions or just comments you want me to read. It looks like American Psycho is the winner. American Psycho wins. American Psycho wins for best Christmas Kino. All right, guys. Look, you know what? I had that. I was having that good Patrick Bateman energy tonight. Yeah, Vince does have a channel. I'll link it here in the chat. You can see he has a video about the fappening. Does Vince have a YouTube channel? So that's Vince's YouTube channel that I just put in the chat. Are you more of a boxers or briefs kind of guy? You know what? I like the. I'm more of a boxers guy. Gonna be honest, but I think I'm. I mean, I'm both. I like the like the in between. You know what I mean? It's like the boxer briefs. They kind of hug you. You know, they kind of give you that stability. But they're not they don't like get all up in your butt. Thoughts on the folk filmmaking movement? Wait, the link isn't in the chat? I thought I put it in there. That's weird. His name is Vince Vintage. That's strange. But yeah, so I guess that's my boxers or briefs thing. So Elon Musk is Edison dressed up as Tesla? Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's not really an inventor, is he? He's more of a just like a dude. He's a what's the term? He's a salesman for Tesla. You know, he's like a financial kind of guy. But yeah, I think if that's everything, you guys. So new video in less than 10 days from now. Beginner's Guide to Cinema, and then after that, do something on Come and See It. I know somebody was asking me about Satan Tango. I want to do a video on Satan Tango. I don't know how it'll perform, because like nobody's seen it except for people who watch this channel, except for the few and mighty. So I don't know if it would, how much like mainstream appeal it would have, but I want to get, before I do a video on something like Satan Tango, I'd want to get a few sort of maybe more crowd pleaser videos out there to help just grow my channel a little bit more, because I would love to make a video on it. It's just I have to really focus on growing my channel at the moment. My goal's always been to like grow my channel, and then when I get to a certain point, I can start to do like a lot more like niche subject matter, because then I'll have like a built-in audience that's gonna watch it, and I can like introduce more people to more niche films that I really like. Do you enjoy peeing or pooing more? That's tough. It's very tough. It really depends. I think this could be a whole 3-hour discussion, because there's different types of peeing and there's different types of pooing. I think you should know that. It's there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than just what might meet the eye, what you might think on the surface level. It's a philosophical question that's posed to every living being, every man with a big M, not a lowercase m. But yeah, so that's I think I'm gonna head out. Thanks everyone for joining in. It's always been a pleasure. Then Kino can start drama wars with other Kino-like channels. What are some other Kino-like channels that I should start drama with? You know what it says, actually, that a lot of my followers like to watch Your Movie Sucks, but for my Possessor video, the people who were finding my Possessor video were coming from Simmy and Jimmy's channel. So Mumkey, thank you for, accidentally, I guess, funneling people to me. But yeah, I don't like, as you know, we were talking earlier, and how people don't watch, like, you know what? I was actually going to start drama with Mumkey a while back on the Trash Rats podcast about Is It Kino? And we ended up just being too lazy and not recording it. So maybe in the future, maybe I can do that in the future. But I don't watch like any like film related content. I don't want it like changing how I make videos. I don't want to be influenced by anybody else. I just kind of want to do my own thing. You know? So I don't know what like in the film YouTube sphere, I don't know what anyone has to say about anything. I know the names of stuff like Carson Runquist and Taylor, what's his name, and Taylor Williams, and who else? There's Royal Ocean Film Society, and there was Every Frame of Painting, and of course Nerd Writer and stuff like that. Like Game Theory, Film Theory. Like I know about those people. I don't watch any of their videos, so I couldn't tell you anything about their channels. I think I watched one Karsten Runquist video just because of my Ghost Story video. I just made a joke aimed at him, or aimed at people like him. So I had to watch one of his videos so I could like find like a 5-second clip to put just to put in my video, but I hadn't ever seen any of his stuff before. And actually I was going through, I was like, oh, all this dude does is just like face cam where he's talking about movies he watched last month. I mean, I don't know how he gets so many views. Like I thought his stuff was kind of lame, but whatever. I think a lot of stuff is kind of lame though. But anyways, guys, I'll see you all later. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to watch Godfather 3. So you all have a good night.